Getting absolute muscle there at turn one. That was an absolute disaster.
Oh, he spun!
Oh no! That's massive for Adam!
All over the rear bumper and spin, mate. These guys are hitting each other like nothing we've ever seen before.
G pulls out to the outside. Here we go again.
AEDST, he's going to go for a move here. The two Ferraris in front of him.
G's went wide. G's is
Oh!
in the level with Schumacher. Oh, good contact.
Oh, massive contact there.
This is going to be an incredible finish for these two.
The speed, the overspeed happening. They're going to go 3 wide into
Oh.
turn 1.
There's contact there from Tracy to come through on the way in. He tries to retrace and gets his way.
Shoved out wide. Oh, huge contact.
This is fantastic. On the outside though in turn one.
As he chops it down the inside anyway. What is this? Oh my gosh! What a move from GTR!
Good evening, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand and around the world. Welcome back to another round of Sector 1 sim racing. I hope you all are feeling the buzz after yesterday evening's stream over on the Wheel to Wheel channel. Not to advertise a competitor, but there is a League competition that is going down at the end of this month. If you missed that, make sure you go check it out. All links are available in the Sector 1 Sim Racing Discord, which if you're not part of, by the way, we have links in our description of this YouTube video here. So make sure you go join that and go check out that league. But big things happening over there. There was a big announcement last night about that. Plenty of guys talking about it in the chat there and in the Discord on our end as well. So get amongst it, get excited. But more of that later. Tonight we're here at Willow Springs in the US of A. We're back for more Div 4 and Div 2 racing after last week's sprint races here at Big Willow in the desert. Fantastic location, very dangerous though, very easy to go off the side and completely ruin your day. For race 1, we're looking at Division 4 for action tonight. Multi-make race, as per usual, a lot of different choices amongst the grid from these guys, and we will be directed by the one and only Captain Muffin this evening, so he will be joining me in the box. Say hello to everyone, Mr. Muffin.
Hello there, Adam. Good afternoon, good evening, good night to everyone in and around Australia. Hope you're all doing well, and all I can say is I am very excited for tonight. Willow Springs, after last week's action provided, I expect more of the same here. This should be a very good night out for us.
Yeah, the sprint race always brings the heat in Sector 1, so 2 races per division tonight after a 10-minute qualifying. First race for, I believe it's roughly half points, and then we're looking at full points for the second race. So a lot to play for these guys tonight. And we've seen a bit of a shake-up amongst the competition here last week, in any case. A couple of different cars towards the front of the field. So the dominant Supras from the beginning of the season looking to be falling off a little bit here at Willow Springs, favouring the more handling-focused cars, such as the BRZ. But we'll have a look now, before we get into Division 4, at the Division 2 standings as they sit post-round 3. So we're now on to round 4. Here's what we're looking at for Division 2. So starting at the top, we've got Stickers, the Lightning Motorsport team owner. They're driving the Toyota, and he leads the way with 86 points, a commanding lead so far for the Lightning Motorsport team owner. He's followed by Lenocis of Blacklight Motorsport with some very consistent performances so far this season, and Old Wakey rounding out the podium for Division 2 at the moment, provisionally, for Kraken Esports, also with the Toyota. So a Ferrari amongst the mix at the top there in the form of Lunacy for Blacklight, the only team to pick the Ferrari this season. DP Mario in P4 for Black Rose has been fairly consistent as well this season. The Nissan proving competitive at every round so far that we've had for these guys, 3 rounds so far. Evil Evo 9, Doghouse Motorsport, and the highest alpha on the grid, on the standings rather, in P5, Race Fan, the CP Motorsports in P6 with the McLaren, and Maverick in P7, or I believe he's now known as Cruising on the in the online space. The second of the Blacklight Motorsport Ferraris down in P7. Petstar P8 for Doghouse Motorsport. I believe it's his debut season, so not too bad of a start for him after 3 rounds. Dadson, your Division 3 champion for last season in P9 in the Mercedes, a car that hasn't seemed to be too competitive so far this season, but he's definitely making it work, keeping himself nice and comfortable in the top 10 there. The team owner of Dadson Racing Team. Lenocis in P10 there for Obsession Motorsport and the Toyota. They've had some fantastic results across the season so far, but due to an early season team penalty, they've been put down the order a little bit, so they're clawing their way back at the moment. Crazy Good Kung Fu for ISA Esports and the Porsche. Karen Unleashed in P12 for Deeds Racing, the team owner. He'll be looking to turn his luck around tonight in the Subaru BRZ, which is proven to be a fairly decent car around this track, as we saw last week. Salazar Black, who has stepped away from Sector 1, was P13. He will be replaced by a new driver tonight, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We will introduce him later on. And Smidmate also having to step away from Sector 1 after 3 rounds, P14, and he will also be replaced tonight. But more on those two later on. Let's have a look at the Div 4 standings. Benny X currently leads the way for Respawn Esports, driving the Toyotas with a couple of dominant rounds in the early stages of the season. ISA Renegade for HoonCorp Esports in P2 in the Nissan after a fantastic performance at the Daytona round in the GDR, pulling off an almighty one-stop strategy over the 2 stops of many others. VF in P3 got off to a flying start in round 1 and has struggled for points a little bit later on in the season, but he'll be looking to change that tonight in the Mercedes, where tonight it will look a little bit stronger than it has been over the earlier stages of the season. Dazza for Kraken Esports in P4. Revs Law for Hooncorp Esports in P5. So the second of the Hooncorp cars both in the top 5 for Division 4. Looking good so far this season. A guy with no skills, Black Rose Racing, proving that he does in fact have the skills so far this season. Currently sits P6. He's been consistently around P5 more or less every race so far this season. So he's definitely proving one to compete with if you want to get a podium here in Division 4. PD Pops, Debrev, skip Debrev in P7 for CP Motorsports. Wouldn't want to skip your teammate Muffin, sorry about that. And PD Pops in P8 for Doghouse Motorsport, driving the Alfa Romeo. Has had a bit of rotten luck so far this season, unfortunately. He's been performing right up the pointy end, but been the butt of a couple of incidents in the first 3 rounds, so he'll be hoping to turn his luck around this evening at a track where the Alpha appears to be quite strong. Laminator P9 and Malevolent One in P10 rounds out that top 10 with the Deeds car of Subaru. He'll be looking for a good result tonight as well. Here's a Johnson for Brockio 5 Sim Racing, another of the Subarus down towards the bottom of the field that'll be looking to pull as many points from this handling biased track this evening. Womble RMR, the Red Mist team owner in P12, they're driving the Toyotas, and the Good Doc, who had missed a couple of rounds in the beginning, got off to a great start last round in round 3, scoring himself 22 points in that Ferrari, looking really good, so he'll be hoping for a result much similar to that this evening to claw his way back up towards the top. Isa Diabolus down in P14, I believe he has also stepped away from Sector 1 for the time being and will hopefully be replaced tonight, and we will get into that shortly. Muffin, what do you make of the standings as they sit at the moment?
I think very much so, like you said, the Subarus have been pretty dominant for the first few rounds of the season, with a few outliers definitely making some great ground, but this track here I feel is going to flip the tables on their heads, and the cars that were at the front will now be a bit further back. I can definitely, like you said, the Subarus, like you said, and McLarens, Nissans, even Mercedes, they should all be in a great spot tonight for some good points, and it should hopefully mix up the table before we go to our Enduro next time out.
Yeah, finally a round that doesn't favour the Toyota Supra, as we've seen so far this season. I think almost every race has been won by a Toyota Supra so far this season, apart from the races we had last week where we saw some BRZs up the top end. So as we talk about that, obviously looking at the way the track operates and favours different cars, here's the track in question. Willow Springs, the big Willow layout, the fastest road in the west, I believe it's referred to. 9 corners around the track, or turns as they call them in America. So Group B, Division 4, Division 2 tonight. We're only looking at soft tyres for these guys, so no mandatory tyres, because we are looking at a sprint format this evening. So 2 20-minute races and a different array of points on offer for the drivers, but the top step of the podium is what they will all be aiming for. How did you fare around this track last week, Muffin? How did you feel about it?
Well, qualifying definitely left a lot to be desired, and it has nothing to do with the car, it's all to do with me and just driving not as well as I really should in that car. I just didn't have the confidence in myself, but thankfully on the races I was able to side my way through the pack there, and to get to just off the podium in the end of the main race there was a pretty good effort, and just shows how good the McLaren is when you have a good driver behind the wheel.
And you're quite happy with the McLaren around here? You think your teammates should fare well tonight?
I definitely think they should do alright. Without a doubt, McLaren, it's one of those cars, especially at turn 9 in particular, you don't want to turn into the corner too much, because when you do, the rear end steps out, and your natural instinct is to correct it, but the moment you do, the thing will snap sideways and you will go meet the sand. So you have to be very gentle and have confidence in the car that when the rear end steps out, it'll catch itself, and then you can power on down to the main straight without any problems at all.
And it's very treacherous off the edge of the circuit here at Willow Springs, with desert surrounding the circuit and some very dangerous looking humps in the earth that one has not failed to see several Gran Turismo vehicles taking flight in their time. But hopefully none of that tonight. Maybe a little bit of building sandcastles, but it's all in good fun, and hopefully everyone keeps their wheels on the tarmac this evening, I'd say we get into qualifying.
That sounds like a plan to me. Good sir, I reckon we should let these boys loose. I'm very keen for this. I can see the big red button here. It's still covered in stars and stripes. Alright, let's give it a push.
Yeah, the boxing here at Big Willow, it looks like they spent all their money on the track, and they didn't worry about the commentators too much. But, you know, as long as there's a beer fridge downstairs for afterwards, I'm happy.
That sounds good to me. As we let them loose the qualifying now, 10 minutes here at Willow Springs, which will set the grid for our first race. And then the second race, we will use the results from the first race to decide the grid.
Alright, and they are off and away. The 10-minute timer has begun. There's your first look at the timing sheet on track at the moment. These guys heading out for their first laps. A couple of guys not moving as of yet, but we'll have a look at the guys who are on track. So who's your hot favourite tonight, Muffin?
Ooh, currently for me right now, at least going for what I've seen in practice, I think Malevolent One from Deeds Racing. Him and that Subaru have been showing some great times so far tonight. But I'm not going to say he's going to walk away with it. Drivers such as Keza Johnson and Rev's Law and even Debrev, my CP teammate, have also been putting in some nice consistent times, but I think Malevolent One at the moment, he is my red hot favourite.
Alright, so let's run through the field quickly. A very short lap round here. Refresh everyone on who is who. Rev's Law in P1 at the moment for Home Corp, so he's sitting 5th on the leaderboard at the moment, if memory serves, in the Nissan GDR. Keza Johnson for Rocky 05 Sim Racing in a different livery tonight, retro style, as is customary at the sprint rounds for Sector 1. Renegade, the second of the Home Corp drivers, currently P2 in the standings, so right up there, he'll be looking to make a mark tonight. Petey Pops in the Alfa Romeo will be looking to turn his luck around, as we were saying before, and the Alfa should be fairly strong around here, so hopefully he can put in a nice strong qualifying. 2 races to get through as well tonight. Laminator in the Supra, he's had a good start to the season as well. A couple of good results so far for him in the Supra, and it'll be damage limitation for their team tonight. The Good Doc in P6 in the mighty Ferrari in blue, which is a unique colour to see on a Ferrari more often than not. They are red in colour, but another retro style livery unique to the sprint round for the Blacklight Motorsport team. The guy with no skills, P7, and he's driving the, I believe it's the Nissan, if I remember correctly.
Yep, he is driving the Nissan GTR from the guys of Black Rose Racing, also with a retro livery on.
Looking very good. Dazza Sterling in the Toyota Supra, also an old school livery on that car, looking very good. And one of our debutants for the evening, the ISA Esports replacement, Shizo Wookie. We'll just go with Wookie. We might call him Chewy if we want to get on that a little bit later. But we'll look at the Ghost-style nicknames later on as the first drivers come across the line. Benny Rex, your current season leader for Division 4 in P10 at the moment. VF, who will be looking to get another strong result again tonight. In P11 there, Brev, P12, your teammate Muffin, looking to put in a performance in the McLaren. Womble has shown, he was saying that there was potentially going to be some wheel issues tonight, but he's looking great in that red mist car, retro style livery for this evening as well. And Malevolent One, P14, was laid out the pits in the BRZ, and he'll be looking to smash in some good times in that handling focused car. Rev's Law currently sits provisional pole. And he set a 111.135 for the pole lap. Currently leads Keza Johnson by 0.122. Looks like he'll be coming in for a pit stop to put on some fresh tyres this time through. But provisional pole for the Home Corp driver, and looking good for him because he's currently P5 in the standings. He needs a good result to get back up onto the podium steps if he can. In the pits he comes.
100%. Just thinking as well, that time there, 111.135, that was still placing towards the back of the grid of Div 1. That is a very fast time, especially in a Div 4 lobby. That is sensational driving from Rev's Law.
It's an excellent time. Absolutely nothing to be scoffed at there. And he's actually, Keza and Revs are a second clear of Laminator in P3 there. So that is a crazy time. Massive gap to these guys back here. So back half of Div 4, step your game up. You got some guys to chase up the front there. Keza and Revs laying down the law here in Division 4. Benny X comes a little bit closer, but he's still 8/10 behind Keza Johnson in the Supra, where the Supra is not so strong around here as it used to be. I believe many have tended to agree.
Definitely. I think the Supra, like you'd know for yourself, the car, it loves straight lines, it loves going fast, but just when it comes to corners, having the engine on the front there, after a while, especially on like the long loaded corners, the tyres just beg for mercy, and at one point they just lose all their grip. It's the same with any car on the grid, just for some reason the Supras just get to that point a fair bit quicker than some of the other cars in the field.
Not a good car for front tyre wear, and definitely not favourable on the handling tracks, as we know, but it wasn't terrible. We did see some Supras up towards the front end of the field, so there's no excuses really. The guys in the Supras do still have to perform here tonight, but I'm sure most of them will be looking at this as potentially one of their drop rounds for the season. But we'll see what we get out of our Supra drivers here this evening. Benny and the spirit of sportsmanship and fair play getting out of the way for all of the drivers behind them. Really good to see. Let's have a look at the guys up the front. So Keza and Revs are on their flying laps now as they go through Rabbits here. Actually, Revs has dropped back a little bit, and he's now in the middle of the field. So a little bit of clear air in front of him, but he's going to need a lot more than that if he wants to set a faster time. But yeah, he's not too far clear of Keza, so definitely under threat from the Brocchio 5 sim racing driver.
Definitely, that's what I say as well.
There we go. So there goes that threat for this lap, but there is a little bit of time left on the clock, so he can definitely get around again. So we'll see if Keza gets moving shortly. Revs Law. Oh, there's another driver off there. I think that might be Lucas, the good doc. He's going to collect. Oh, he did collect Revs there, I think. He was a passenger at that point, but oh man, that accident really hurt these guys.
Definitely, and not only has they killed this lap, but arguably it's killed their next lap, because once you go under the sand here, the tyres just, they lose all their grip, and there's no point trying to drive it off. You're better off going to the pits, grab fresh set of tyres, and just try again. The sand here, it sticks like glue.
I think they've got time to go in and get some freshies, but they're going to be down to one lap or so towards the end of that.
Definitely. Something also we missed out on as well. Malevolent One circles up now to get into P3. Still 6/10 off pole, but it's better than the 1 second mark we had before.
Yeah, they're getting closer. Only half a second separating Keza and Malevolent One now, so these guys are closing in on them. I'm sure it wasn't a fluke lap from the guys up the front, but we haven't seen them replicate it yet, and they are pushing hard, as proven by the incidents so far this evening.
Definitely. Just looking at the field here, seems like a good lap as Laminator in P4 has spun around up the top there of the track. I've forgotten the corner name. I'll have to get a hold of that before I forget.
What with Laminator? Putting sandcastles at the moment.
Yep, just past Budweiser balcony.
Probably will get around to get another one, but they're going to have to make sure they clean their tyres on the way round. Followed by Benia, your current points leader for Division 4 here. He's going to pick up a nice little tow actually here from Laminator as he heads around. He's half a tenth down on his time, but this slipstream might be enough to tip him over the edge here. Let's have a look.
While you're looking there as well, we've got currently Womble off in the sand at Munro's Ridge there, being kind enough to wait for the cars to come by before he goes and continues on his way, but yeah, definitely as Hindy is qualifying as well.
A lot of good sportsmanship on display from these guys, so it's really good to see. But yeah, a lot of off-track excursions, and as proven, the Willow Springs does bite back. Much unlike many other tracks where you might run straight into a wall and bounce straight back onto the track, Willow Springs takes no prisoners. Find yourself spinning off track, it's going to be a long time before you get back on, and a longer time still before you're back up to speed as well.
Definitely. Speaking of going off as well, at Budweiser balcony, P Pops in the sand up there. Unfortunately, must have gone a bit wide, just on the run up to the top of the hill there. But he's still going. He'll get around for another lap, but his tyres are still going to be dirty for a fair while, and he might not be able to put a better lap in than what he's got over 12.8, which is a pretty reasonable time, but still 1.7 seconds off pole here.
on board with ISA Renegade down in P9, currently P2 in the championship standings, so he'll be disappointed with where he sits at the moment. Definitely needs to get himself up as far as he can. Good Dog goes to P10 in the Ferrari after going off on one of the laps in the middle of qualifying there. We're looking towards the pointy end of qualifying now. Everyone's on their lowest fuel load and probably on their final flying laps. A couple of guys on the pit straight about to start the last that they can. See what they can put down.
Definitely. A few cars here finding the sand. Just at the entry turn 2 line, there was Dazza, Laminator, and VF all on the sand there, pushing the car a bit too hard, trying to find the extra time, and then ending up building sandcastles.
We did see the arrows off on the mini-map. Someone's parked it on the exit of Rabbit's Ear there, and we've got a car parked on the pit straight as well. But these guys do what they can. Renegade goes to P8, so he does improve. But certainly not by the amount that he would have liked. Keza, we're looking at now. Currently coming through the middle sector, followed by a couple of other cars. A couple of guys coming through the aptly named turn 9 at the moment. There we go. Debrev follows, looks like Good Doc. Will he improve? No. Debrev, not either. A guy with no skills comes across the line. Does he improve? Where did he go to? I see that.
P10. He improved to P10.
So he's dropped Good Doc outside the top 10 there. Eddie Pop's on his final flyer. A couple of guys coming across the line ahead of him.
Oh, Malevolent One has ended up in the sand at the exit of turn 9 there. His lap is gone.
The aptly named turn line. We love to see it. Here we go with Petey Pops across the line. Not an improvement. We're going to look at Shizo Wookie, who has finished qualifying for himself.
That, I feel, must be all the field. There's one car just crossing the line now, and that was Laminator, who did not improve, unfortunately.
That is the end of qualifying for our boys tonight. So we'll have a look at the qualifying results shortly. But a very interesting session, and it looks like the first lap set was the one that took pole position, as bizarre as that may sound.
It's not very often you see that here in a race. Normally when you take fuel out of the cars get faster, but these boys here must just got a bit more comfortable with fuel in it. But hey, each to their own.
Well, look, it might have
Doesn't
been
matter
pressure
at the time, why do you do it?
Pressure on some of them. A lot of these guys, you know, feeling like they need to bridge a massive gap to that 1 second head of Rev's Law. It might have been enough to make them push a little bit too hard and go over the edge a little bit. But the quali results sit thus. Rev's Law takes pole position for Home Corp in the Nismo GDR GT3 with a 111.135. As you said, Muffin, a fantastic time rivaling that of Division 1, or the lower end of Division 1, here in Division 4. So the competition standards extremely high, up and down in Sector 1. Heather Johnson in P2 in the BRZ GT300. So 2 BRZs on the podium there. Malevolent One taking that second spot behind him. 11.257 and 11.750, so nearly 4 tenths between them, between P2 and 3. But the BRZ's up there at the top. Laminator and Benia in the Supras, respectively, with 12 flats there. Another 2 tenths behind the Malevolent One in the podium spot. VF in the Mercedes in P6. I think you'll be happy with that, considering the performances of the Mercedes last week. By teammates. Debrev in P7 in the 650S, and ISA Renegade rounds out the top 8 there in the Hooncorp GDR Nismo, so he did manage to pop up to P8 in the end. Dazza Sturley in the GR Supra finds himself in P9, a guy with no skills with possibly his lowest qualifying yet of Season 7 here in the GDR Nismo with a P10. Good Doc in P11, not quite living up to what he managed in round number 3, but he's got 2 races to work his way back up to the front, so he'll be looking to make that happen in any way he can. And we know as well just how good that 458 Italia is off the line, so that'll be one to watch also. Wombalari Ma in the GR Supra down in P12, Petey Pops in P13, and Shizo Wookie, our debutant this evening, in P14, less than, or just about 2 tenths behind Petey Pops, a seasoned veteran here at Sector 1. So not a bad start out for Shizo Wookie, and he'll have the whole field in front of him to look at and observe throughout the 2 races this evening. That'll be interesting to see. What do you expect to see, Muffin? What do you think of qualifying's results? All right, and we'll probably move into the race very shortly. Looks like we're having some difficulties with conversing with our race director, but hopefully he is still on the go there. He's still in lobby chat, so he is still operating the buttons and such things, and hopefully we can get him onto the big red button shortly. How are we feeling, Muffin?
Oh, sorry about that. My microphone must have done a mute on me, but that's all right. Currently, answering your question from before, I do feel that the gap between the top 2 and the rest of the field is just astronomical. 0.6 of a second around a track that's only got 9 turns is just insane to think about. It's a very, I'm not going to say simple track, but it's not a very technical one. The corners themselves, while they are long, for the most part, they're just... I'm not sure I really explained it. It's just a big gap, I feel, for a track like this.
Yeah, well, a short track in terms of total time spent on it, so a second or half a second is quite a lot in the grand scheme of things. But we'll see what the guys can get done for us, and we'll get them underway for race 1 here. Set the grid for race 2. Let's get it going. I'm excited for
Definitely.
this. Div 4 always provides the goods. I'm excited to see what happens here, and especially Petty Pops from the back. I think he could really do some damage from there down in P13. He's definitely a mid-pack driver, you know, on his bad days. So I think he could potentially get up towards the top with 2 races here. Definitely an opportunity.
100%. All right, that big red button, it has been pushed. Let's go racing here again at Willow Springs.
All right, get your predictions in the chat, team. Let us know who you think's going to win. Take poll. Take the fastest lap. Win race 1, win race 2. What are your predictions for our guys tonight? I'm expecting, it could be anything really. I couldn't pick anything for you, so I'll leave that to you guys. Put your guesses down below. Here's your grid.
Personally, for me right now, I feel it's going to be a clean race. And going on the T1, everyone will stay on the track.
Here we go, lights are out and the drivers are off and racing, and look at that, the BRZ gets a great start there from Keza Johnson in P2. He's going to be up the inside of Revs Law into turn 1. There's a bit of kerfuffle going on in the background there as well, but Revs Law keeps the position through turn 1, and he manages to get away pretty cleanly actually, and he's holding on to it very nicely, followed by the 2 BRZs. Let's have a look at the mid-pack, see what these guys are doing at the moment. It looks like the Boomcorp car of Renegade making a couple of moves there. They're 3 wide there. Benny are in the middle. And we've got a guy with no skills down the inside of the pair of them. And we've got a moment there. Benny has been pushed off. 2 people have been pushed off. Oh, wow. And a very aggressive rejoin there from Benny. We'll have to take a look at a replay later. There's the Bacchus car of VF who ended up off the track as well. And there's a yellow flag.
Womble's also found the sand.
Womble's ended up off the track as well. But it's green flags all round at the moment as VF finds his way by. That'll be disheartening for the guys who ended up off the track, but there are 2 races here tonight and plenty of time for things to change.
Definitely, it's not over yet, but currently Revs Law 1 second on P2 there after 1 lap. Keza Johnson and Malevolent One separated by less than 0.4 of a second. That's going to be a red hot battle for the rest of the race. Laminator P4 currently. Bit of a no man's land really. 1 second either way. That's insane to think about after just 1 lap having a 1 second gap either side. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Well, he's kept his nose clean quite nicely there to get away from the danger that was in the mid-pack, as we saw 3 wide on the way into what is essentially turn 3. So just good car placement from him. The Deeds car getting very sideways there. Malevolent One, he's going to come under threat from Laminator here. Let's have a look. What can Laminator do? Is he going to go around the outside in the Supra? Look at this. Oh, he backs out of it.
He thinks,
be smart.
Thinks better of it.
Yep.
Definitely.
Playing the long game. 2 races here tonight. Probably the smart thing to do, and it looks like he's probably going to have the run on him here down towards turn 9. Let's have a look. To the outside. I can hear him lifting, so I think he's just going to let Malevolent One keep it, and is probably thinking of the guys behind him a little bit.
Definitely work smarter, not harder. Think of the long game here. Without a doubt, the Supra, it's got good top end. So right now, his plan of attack will be just trying to narrow nail, sorry, a corner exit here and then make a movement on limit one down one of the straights where the car of his is stronger. If he tries to make a move into a corner, the Subaru with its exceptional grip is just going to cruise around the outside, inside, wherever the car gets placed. So Lemonade here, he's going to bide his time here, just to wait for possibly a mistake from 11-1 in front. But if he can just nail his corner exits, Lemonade should be able to stay within touch.
He's looking good. You saw how fast that BRZ was through the final corner as well, as he pulled a massive gap on the Supra behind him. As Laminator gets very close to the runoff there on exit. We can't really look away for a moment here, but we're going to see if we can have a look at a replay on board with these guys. Let's have a look here. Here was the 3 wide moment on board with Debrev. Having a look here. And there goes Benier turning into the Nissan, and it was VF off up ahead that changed everything really. So Benier ended up in the sand, and VF was part of what looked like a separate incident almost.
Yeah, looking at it as well here, it appears that Malevolent One has like absolutely just gone away from Laminator behind him, but now Laminator is in a 3-way battle with himself, Dazzly, and Gardner Skills, as a Gardner Skills almost goes in the sand, but keeps it out, well done, but loses a buttload of time, and Renegade goes up the inside here. Oh no, Blake can't get the nose up far enough, but forced it anyway. Oh, bit of contact there, bit of hip and shoulder.
Every move he can, but it's all clean. Look at that. Takes advantage where others faltered round the outside. Here we go. Look at this. He's going to quickly receive the inside here, and he's going to get the move, make it go through. And the move has done fantastic driving from Renegade. This guy continues to surprise us week in and week out. We saw such a fantastic strategy from him at Daytona in the GDR, where he pulled off the strategy that everyone said couldn't be possible. Made it happen. And now look at him going around the outside of an identical car at a corner that really favours the inside car. So fantastic driving from Renegade, clean all the way. Love to see it.
Definitely. What it's done now, Good Doc and Debrev have been pulled into this battle here, and those cars, the Ferrari and McLaren, those cars really like the cornering aspects of this track. They are being mid-engine, they're really good at turning corners here, but as we see, looking ahead now, Gardner Skills goes back in front of us, Renegade, using the slipstream.
Yeah, we didn't actually see that happen. We were on board with Debrev, but I didn't have my eyes on that bit of action. But it looked like down the inside of turn 1 for a guy with no skills, who's currently sitting P6 ahead of Renegade. Renegade's going to have to answer again.
Definitely. Yeah, I know it's not something that we normally do this early into the race. However, being a sprint round and with the tyres wearing so quickly, I do feel that now is probably a good time for a tyre and fuel update. I know it's only 5 laps in, but 5 laps is a long time at a track like this.
Alright, well, let's hear it.
Alright, so start at the front here. Revs Law leading the way 1.5 seconds ahead of Keza Johnson. He's probably got about half of his tyre left on the front left side. That's the tyre we'll be talking about here, because that's the one that matters the most around this track. And fuel-wise, he's got a bit less than a 3/4 of a tank. Keza Johnson P2. Tyres about the same, but he's got a bit more fuel in hand, so he should be able to push a bit harder on the straights if he needs to try and make up some of that gap to the car in front. Mobile 1 to P3, his tyres definitely have seen better days, currently about 33% left on that tyre there, but fuel-wise, probably about the same as Res Law leading the race there. Laminator P4, his tyres there, touch better than Malevolent One, but touch worse than Keza. Fuel-wise, the worst one of the lot so far, looking at about 66% fuel, approximately 2/3 of a tank. Dazza P5, same fuel as Laminator, same tyres as Laminator. Cars are pretty well identical. Gardner Skills in P6, his front left tyre is already gone. He is grip limited, that's only lap 6 of this race. He will be struggling. Fuel-wise though, about the same as 2 cars in front of him, about 2/3 of a tank. The Good Doc and the Ferrari, he's front left and he's rear left, in all honesty. About 1/3 left of it, 33%. Fuel-wise though, he's probably at the same pace right now as Keza Johnson, so doing well there. Ice Renegade, he's front left, probably about 20% left now. He's definitely on the way out. But fuel-wise, I argue he's the best in the field currently, as Gardner Skills goes into pits there. He might be trying a 2-stop strategy.
There we go.
Yep, Dobrev and P8 now it will be. Same fuel as Keza and the Good Doc. Tyres wise, I'd argue this point, best in the field. He has got really great tyre quality and it's showing right now as he's about to make a move in Icy Renegade
right
here.
on the back of Renegade, isn't he? That tyre advantage doing him wonders here in Rabbit's here.
Definitely, I think if Dobrev here can just hold his nerve, could make an outside move out of this, but nope, thinks better of it. I'll continue through the field
Car
though.
positioning from
As
Renegade through there.
Petey Pop's currently P9 now. His fuel probably a bit less than the cars leading the race, but still in a good spot. But his front left tyre has probably got 15% left as he nearly goes off the track.
Is that a
He
good
must be
recovery
starting
so
to
far,
feel
Petey Pops? He's not looking too bad in it. Wise.
100% to start from the back of the grid, I believe it was. Can't the P9 is not bad at all. VF and P10, still better tyres than the cars in front of him, but fuel-wise he probably isn't the best off. Probably about mid-pack, I'd say, about average. Chewy, let's call him now in the Porsche. His fuel probably a bit on the leaner side, you could say. Not as much left there to play with, but tyre-wise, not looking too bad currently. Could be better, could be worse. Going on skills where he's been through.
Oh,
has just
Petey
been
Pops
for a
is
pit
off the
stop.
track. He's going to make it. He's going to make it to the pits, but he's gone wide at the exit of turn 9 there. That'll be a problem for him a bit later, I think. Might be a pit lane penalty, but we'll see as that goes on.
Definitely. And I think only cars we got left to talk about now. We've got Benny X now in P12. His front left tyre is about to call it a day. He hasn't got much left grip on there. I feel going through T2 here, he will lose all grip that is left there. Fuel-wise, half a tank currently. And Womble, currently P14, he must have just gone for a pit stop as well. Fuel-wise, just under 2/3 of a tank, tyres are fresh. We'll see what he can do from here with the undercut and the cars in front.
Alright, well, let's have a look up the front. A couple of guys blinking quite early. I think lap 8 is the magic number for these guys, so let's have a look and see if Rev's Law pits in this lap. There he goes into the pits. And Keza does not follow suit, so he goes around again, going for an overcut, which is an interesting
Definitely
strategy.
him.
Level at one.
Look at the
Keza
back.
goes around.
Definitely look in the background there as we saw Keza go past the pit lane. Laminator had a massive moment there in the sand. Managed to hold it, but oh wow, that would have been a brown pants moment for sure.
Now, has Laminated pitted?
Negative, he has not pitted yet. His tyres are absolutely gone. There's no point even looking at him. He's driving on a rim.
So, he hasn't pitted, and Rev's Law has come out in front of him after making a pit stop. That's quite interesting,
Yep.
I think.
Rev's Law has got a pit stop on P4. That is astounding. What a drive.
He's doing fantastic at the moment. I think dominating display as we see a car off there. Don't know who that was. Malevolent one? Perhaps Laminated. That might have been a bit of lag because he appeared to come straight back onto the track. But kicking up some real dust on the way through.
Definitely. I think we should see now, looking ahead, Keza Johnson should go on the pits this lap, and he does. His tyre, definitely not very good. However, what he's done now, he's secured that his next stint will be better at the end of it. His tyres won't be completely falling off a cliff, so he should be able to fight Rev's Law if he can get back to him at the end of the race.
What's interesting is that the Subaru seems to be one of the best cars for tyre wear as Good Dot goes off and loops it on the exit of turn 9. And he's going into the pits himself, or he's backed it in. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, he's been reset onto the track. So
that's a
is
shame.
not going to be good for the Good Dog. Oh, somehow he's
He's in the
pits. That doesn't make no sense.
Okay.
But GT good at GT will move on. Good Dog in the pit lane. So is that his first or second stop?
That'll be second stop now.
Okay, so that was definitely unintentional. An unintentional 360 entry into the pit lane. Okay, but it looked good on camera, Good Dog.
Yes. If nothing else, it looked awesome.
It did. It looked fantastic. So, the upshot of the pit stops. Now, we're looking at Rev's Law out the front by 4.5 seconds from Keza Johnson in the BRZ, who's been driving a fantastic race so far, keeping his nose nice and clean. Malevolent one, much the same. Had an incident early on and fell back into the clutches of... Was it Dazza who was right behind him for a short while?
I believe so, possibly, but don't quote me on that. I'll have to go back at the replay to be sure, but I think you're
Someone
about
was
right
all
in
over the
saying
back of
that.
him for a while, and he's absolutely dropped them, whoever they are. So props to Malevolent One for a fantastic drive so far. Currently, the top three have remained exactly the same as our qualifying result.
Definitely. Just looking back though, I want to say, I'm not biased whatsoever, but quite a achiever. Debrev in P5, he was down in P9 for the first half of that race. He's managed to find 4 positions and we haven't even noticed it. What a great drive from him.
He is having a good drive. It looks like that McLaren is really strong on race pace around here. Got a guy with no skills to catch. A guy with no skills also. When did he get himself up to P4?
That's actually a very fair point. I know why, because he pitted on lap 6 and went for an undercut in the whole field. However, I feel he's due for another pit stop.
So we think he might be on a 2-stop.
Certainly, unless he's planning on driving on a rim for the last, I'd probably say, 6 laps of the race. Yeah, he'll be on for another stop here.
He'll probably be...
As
Oh, that Malevolent One's gone off the track. There we go. Turn 9 bites again. Looks like he's just put a wheel in the dirt and lost it completely. Just gets out of the way of Debrev there. Oh, nearly hinders him.
Ooh.
Oh, and the GDR of Renegade swoops around him as well. Not what he would have wanted at all. Let's have a look at the replay on that one. Here we go. Into turn number 9. What happens here? Onto the brakes. Just gets it sideways and corrects it as you were talking. Actually, no hint of the dirt at any point. It was simply fishtailing in the middle of the corner under brakes that caused that to happen. Very interesting.
Yes, I found here with that last corner, it's very deceiving. You generally just want to sort of like stamp on the brakes, lose the speed, turn into the corner and keep going. But because you got so much weight going through that front left tyre, nothing in the rear right, when you go put the anchors on and it just sends even more of that weight to the front of the car, the rear end just becomes weightless and it wants to come out on you. Definitely that T9 there, you almost want to pretend you're driving without ABS and just gently apply the brake, gently release the throttle, try to keep the car as settled as possible, because when you don't, well, you see what happens.
Yep, and that's exactly what we saw there for Malevolent One. That's so unfortunate that he's fallen down to P6, but I think he can probably get it back if he plays his cards right. He's looking quick. We've got a second pit stop from Renegade as well. Interestingly.
Yep, going our skills, yep. Going our skills, putting fuel in the car as well, a little splash and dash. He should still come out about P6, is it? Yep, P6.
He is, and
not
he's
a
going
bad
to
drive
have a very
whatsoever.
fast car towards the end here. So this could be very interesting. He's got 2 cars to catch in front of him in the forms of Laminator and Malevolent One. I think Malevolent One might be a little bit too far gone because he is very quick, as we've seen, but Laminator could be under threat here for his P5.
I also want to say this, but something we also haven't seen, when did Revs Law put 15 seconds on Keza Johnson? He has just eked out that gap massively.
He's driving the wheels off that Nissan, isn't he? The Hooncorp driver. He's clearly been receiving tips from our resident Nissan expert, PX3 GDR, his teammate up in Division 1. Fantastic drive so far. Absolutely untouchable. And his teammate is not performing nearly as well, although he has just done a second pit stop, so he was off on strategy. But it just shows how well Revs is driving, that his teammate is not as close to him as he has been in previous rounds.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen at home, just in case you aren't aware, these cars aren't tuned to drive different ways. The cars that each teammate is driving is the exact same as one another, so the fact that one driver is able to pull out such a big gap in the lead and one's not, that's all down to driver skill there. Nothing to do with the car.
Again, we're seeing it again from Revs Law. I think this is the second time this season that he's waved a big flag during a Division 4 race saying, "Put me in Div 3." But here he is, dominating by nearly 15 seconds. Keza Johnson in P2 in the BRZ, argued to be the better car out of the Nissan and the Subaru. But P2, nothing to scoff at, and he'll be on the front row if he keeps this up for race 2. Debrev currently sitting P3. You'd be happy with that, wouldn't you, Muffin?
I very much am happy with that, but right now I'm also a bit scared because he's got Malevolent behind him, 1.1 seconds behind him. That gap is slowly coming down. But currently, with that McLaren from what I felt at least, if you can make it to a lap 7 of the stint, usually at that point the Subaru's tyres have started to come away from them and you should be able to stay, hold your position. Till then though, Debrev is pretty vulnerable in my opinion.
The other one we need to keep an eye out for is a guy with no skills who's made a second pit stop and is on fresh tyres. He's chasing down the Laminator at the moment with a 1.5 second gap in the Supra, who's probably going to chew through those tyres very shortly. We'll just have a look at Petey Pops and Renegade here down the main straight. Renegade on the outside of the Alpha driver. Will he go around the outside as we've seen him do already this race? Look at that, through turn one.
Yes, he does.
Oh, beautiful. You don't see moves like that very often on equal tyres, but we've just seen two from one driver in the same race. That's great driving from Renegade.
Probably should say as well that Renegade has paired for fresh softs, so his tyres were definitely not the same as Petey Pops there.
There is an advantage
however,
there.
Still a great move nonetheless. Not trying to take anything away from Renegade, but it wasn't as if, like you said, it was even tyres. Renegade definitely had the better carbonism at that point.
Let's have a look at onboard here. We're on board with Renegade. Drop back and look at Petey Pops. Look at that. Gets on the brakes and just swoops around the outside there. Nothing that Petey Pops could do. Simply did not have the space to work with. Petey Pops under threat again from Dazza Sturley here. They come through turn 9. Dazza sticking the nose up the inside on the way through there. Being a little bit cheeky with it.
Look at the two cars as well, Dazza and Petey Pops. Petey Pops. Dazza has got a lot of fuel in the car. I think, Mr. Bumcrack, if you're in the chat there, we'll have to double check and see what strategy that was there, whether or not you're planning on just burning fuel for fun this race, but definitely that car there is over-fueled, like sort of like a reverse deed strategy, if you will.
And up the inside of Petey Pops through Rabbits here as well. Petey Pops is tumbling down the order here in the late stages of this race, perhaps suffering from some tyre wear issues as we get on. Supra's going through, I think. Did Dazza do a second stop there?
Looking at Daz's tyres, I do not believe he did actually, no. If he has, I have missed it completely. Yeah, no, I cannot see any sort of indication for a second stop. I think he's just been that careful on the tyres, and I think he also maybe went to lap 9 in the first stint, because his lap time there was a 1:36, which would indicate him going for a pit stop there. But yeah, so far, car looks to be pretty great. If he has gone for a second stop, well, we've missed it completely here in the comms box.
Just having a look at a replay here of Shizo Wookie overtaking the points leader for the division in the form of Benny X up the back of the circuit. Great driving there, and we've actually missed the end of the race. Some,
yeah,
actually,
some
no,
driving.
only for some. Alright, it's okay. Daz Sturley crossed the line. P9. Revs Law out the front. He's coming around now to take the check flag for P1 as they come through turn 9 for the final time. He's held on to that 14-second leader because of Johnson, so maintained his tyres all the way to the end here. Revs Law will take victory in the sprint race here at Willow Springs for Division 4. A flash of the lights as he comes across the line. Very happy with that performance, as he should be. A great drive from the Hooncorp driver, staking his claim once again in Division 4 here. Keza Johnson for Rocky 05 Sim Racing will cross the line in that fantastic retro livery. Takes the checkered flag for P2, and he'll start on the front row for race 2. And Debrev will take the third step of the podium here in the first sprint race of the evening in the CP Motorsports McLaren. Malevolent 1 returns to P4 in the Subaru BRZ. Laminator and a guy with no skills, P5 and 6 respectively. VF comes across the line in P7. Not a shabby result from VF either, but a great job from many of our drivers here this evening.
That was just a great first race there to watch. I want to say as well, something we didn't really see on stream. We had two cars there, Malevolent 1 and Laminator, both crossed the line with no fuel in the car. Literally, cars were rolling. Laminator there, very lucky not lose a position there to a guy with no skills, because guy with no skills, he was full pelt to the finish line and only missed out by less than a tenth of a second.
We did see them side by side for a moment there, so that was definitely a close thing there, run at the end. But yeah, action-packed, wasn't it?
Oh, action-packed is an understatement. That was just sensational driving from the guys there. Oh, and we get to do it all again now. How awesome's that?
Indeed we do. So, here's a look at our results from Race 1. will set the grid for race 2. Revs Law will take pole position after an emphatic victory in the first sprint race of the evening, GDR. And Keza Johnson P2 with a great performance also in the BRZ, dominating all the drivers behind him as well. So a great drive from Keza, not to be overshadowed by Revs Law. Drive from him as well. And Dobrev, the star of Division 4 this time around in the 650S, as you said, Muffin, the tyres coming back to him a little bit at the end, and he ended up staying ahead of Malevolent One by about 3 seconds there. So he played his cards well. He did what he had to do. Malevolent One with his error early stage in the early stages of his second stint cost him dear, but he did manage to make up a couple of positions, but could not take the fight to the CP Motorsports driver, who finishes on the podium. Laminator in P5 with a solid result, given all things of that race. I believe he just did the one stop, if I'm not mistaken. That's a good result, and he'll start in I believe that's a higher position than he started the last race in. So, pretty good from Laminator, from the Lightning Motorsports car. A guy with no skills in P6, with a two-stop strategy as well. I believe he was the first of the two-stoppers. So a good result from him in the retro-style livery there. VF in P7 in the Mercedes. He'll be happy with that result, I think, after a spin early stages as well. We saw that right at the beginning. Saw him tumble right to the back of the field. So a great result there from VF, all things considered. Renegade in P8, second of the two stoppers, with a good result there from him as well. Showing good pace throughout the race. And Dazza Sturley, P9, PD Pops rounds out the top 10, going a little bit backwards in the late stages of the races, unfortunately. But I think that's an improvement on his grid position from race 1, so I think there's a lot of positives to take from that. Womble RMR in the Supra in P11. Shizo Wookie with a couple of position improvement and takes the position P12 over the championship points leader, Benia X in P13, and Good Doc with a retirement in race 1 finds himself in P14 after that fantastic 360 spin entry into the pit lane. And our fastest lap as well goes to Revs Law. So yeah, absolutely laying down the Revs Law here for Division 4. A Grand Slam victory in every sense of the word there. Pole, fastest lap, led every lap, and victory, of course, in the end. Can he do it again for race 2? Let us know what you think in the chat down there, and Dobrev as well, 650S. What a great result. Be very interested to see what happens between him and Malevolent One in the next race. What are your thoughts, Muffin?
Yeah, like we saw in the Division 3 and Division 1 race from last week, the Supras were just unfortunately not up to the pace tonight, unlike races gone by this season, but very much like last week as well, races were very entertaining. We cannot say that enough here. Willow Springs, while it is an absolute dog of a track to drive on, it's great to watch people drive on it.
Great stuff, action-packed. Let's hope for more of the same in the second race. Speaking of which, are we ready to rock and roll for race number 2 here?
I'll just make sure that the grid is very much in the right order before I do that. So please, everyone in the chat there, feel free to chuck in your podium predictions now for the main event of tonight. Currently right now, after that first race, Revs Law P1, I can see that happening. I think Dobrev will get P2 ahead of Keza Johnson. I think Dobrev can get P2 there if he puts a good race together.
Yep, back your team, mate. Love to hear it. I hear that the word on the street is that the bookies aren't taking bets for Revs Law anymore. They're too afraid of his victories. It's much like watching Max Verstappen in Formula 1. You just know that he's going to win. But can he do it again here at Willow Springs? Let's see. Yeah, for race 2 of the sprint round tonight for Division 4. A lot of action coming up for you this evening. Let's press that big red button, shall we?
I will just 1 second again, just making sure the grid is set. The boys here really just for some weird reason they decided to mix themselves up in between races here, and I've got to just tell them all now where they gotta be and when they gotta be there. I'm not sure why getting so much grief and setting these boys up, but it's all right. We're getting there slowly but surely.
The guys struggling to find their starting boxes here on the track at Willow Springs. Although they do have a funky looking grid here at the Big Willow circuit, so it is fair that they would struggle to find their spot on the track. It is kind of where you're told. There's no real markings on the track, but let's have a look at chat while we're waiting around for these guys. Revs is unstoppable from Mr. Bumcrack. Yep, it's looking good for him. GGVF, wicked recovery after that rough start. Yeah, fantastic drive from VF there after being turned around in the early stages. We didn't get to have a look on board with him at what happened there, but it looked like he might have just spun on his own. And yeah, it was a tough race for him, but he clawed his way back into the top 10, which is a fantastic thing to see. Good Doc says, I didn't retire, I got reset twice and finished a lap down. So not bad in the grand scheme of things then, only a lap down. There was a couple of guys that ended on that lap prior, so to be reset twice and to recover to that is not too shabby at all. And a hard reset, of course, for race 2, so an opportunity to do better and get a better result this time around. So definitely something that we'll be looking for a lot of these guys. And hopefully that Ferrari feeling good around Willow Springs here this evening in the hot American sun. Laminator and a guy with no skills with a very close photo finish. Indeed, and we were talking about that just before, Muffin. I think you said that I think it was Laminator ran out of fuel towards the end, and a guy with no skills very nearly got the jump on him towards the line there. So, you know, the action never stops. We saw as well last week a couple of guys running out of fuel on the last lap of their race. So there's just so much that can happen in these races, in these sprint races. So action all the way up and down, and then right at the death as well, running out of fuel at the very last second. We'll have a quick look now at the Division 4 standings once again before we get into our final race. So, as we said before, Benny Rex leading the way at the moment. He's got a 4-point lead up there according to the screen. But that will potentially all change tonight. Renegade might get the jump on him after that poor result in the first race. So, he'll have to turn things around in this next one. But I think it's time for us to get going.
Very much so, yeah. All the boys are here. They're ready to go for the main event tonight for these guys in Division 4. I reckon it's time to send them off. This one here for all the marbles. Let's give them hell.
All right, race 2 for the sprint round here for Division 4. About to get underway now. This is the big points race, so this is where it all counts the most. So these guys will be feeling the pressure now. I'm sure Rebs might not be feeling quite as much as the guys around him, but he's still got to get away to a good start and could get caught up in the pack at any point. So hope for the best for him. Here we are. Lights are up on the screen, and they're lighting up now as we get our 5 red lights up. Revs are up, and the guys are ready to go. The lights are out, and we go racing here, and Revs Law was in reverse. Reverse Law off the start, and he goes backwards into a driver behind him, and Keza goes through into the lead. Malevolent One gets the jump on a guy with no skills, and the drivers around him, I think it was, who was it that was on the front row in front of him? It was your
Debrev was currently behind him. Yes.
Debrev's been knocked way down. He's now P10 in that McLaren after a disastrous start. Oh, wow. What an absolute catastrophe that was. That was absolutely insane. The wrong gear for the leader, a man who appeared to be able to make no mistakes. Revs Law becomes Reverse Law here at Willow Springs. What a mistake to make. So he finds himself now in P5 with not too bad of a recovery after that grave error. But
look at that though, P1 and 2. Look at them 2 wide, the 2 Subarus. Let's go.
Here we go. Malevolent One has got past Keza Johnson into the lead. Look at him fly through that final corner as well. So late on the brakes in that Subaru BRZ. And a guy with no skills is not letting these guys get away either. If they're still there though, Revs is still a threat. Look at how beaten up the rear panel of that car is. Oh, it took a big beating in that early stage. And guy with no skills goes through into P2 there.
I think you might find with Rev's Law car currently looking a bit beaten from the back, the front of Debrev's car will look roughly the same as that.
Have a look at that when we get the chance. But the action up top is so hard to look away from. And here we go. Rev's Law might be down the inside here of Laminator. He looks to it, but he's going to quickly find himself on the outside of the next corner, and a little bit of latency there, making it very difficult to race against Laminator. As
It's
we've
Keza in the
lost
sand.
Keza.
Keza is gone.
Keza is off track. He's building sandcastles, so he's going to plummet way down to the back of the field. That puts him out of this fight for the top positions.
Definitely. What it does now, Malevolent 1 for Deeds in P1. Unfortunately, my prediction for him didn't go too well in race 1, but race 2 is looking pretty good for him now.
You know what's crazy? We saw a victory in the final race from a Deeds driver last week as well. These guys have really got their act together for Willow Springs this week, and they have brought the fire, the heat to the desert in the Subaru BRZ.
Yep, actually we got a spear in the back here. Rev's Law is spun. He's got for track as well. P13 now. About to be P14. Keza might just get in front of him here.
Oh, wow. Oh, no, it must have been turn 9 that caught him out.
It
He's
certainly
been shaken
was.
up by that start. Speaking of that start, let's have a look at it now. There we go. Into reverse, the wrong gear. He shifts up. Gets a bump from the driver behind. He was lucky that he got away with that. But wow. What a way to go.
That's just unfortunate for Rev's Law and Debrev there. Rev's Law, of course, being in the wrong gear. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say an easy mistake to make, but definitely one that can be done easily. You just don't see it very often here in the Sector 1 sim racing field. And Debrev as well, innocent bystander, unfortunately, just had nowhere to go and had to end up making contact and losing a buttload of time. As these cars here going through turn 9, P6 through to P9, I believe that is. P10, sorry. Got line astern as Womble looks to go for a move, and Ice Renegade around the outside makes it done easy. The power of that Supra cannot be beaten, no matter where the car goes.
Well, Womble's making a really good recovery here, down in P9 at the moment. These guys are all on top of each other here as we watch them come through Rabbit's Ear for the 4th time of asking. Petty Pop's leading the way for this group behind BF in P5, who's had a great start as well, taking advantage where others faltered. Our points leader for the season, currently in P8, Benny RX, has made a good recovery at the start of this race so far.
Yep,
Oh,
as
bit of a
Womble goes
bump
for a move at the
wide.
inside.
Oh, looked like there might have been contact there, but it was hard to tell with the latency from the angle that we were looking at.
Oh wow, and Womble goes a bit wide going down to the back straight here and lose a position. Ice Renegade around the outside he goes. Great move there.
He's lost 2 and 1. Oh no, sorry, Benny is still going to get by. Here we go, up the inside, on the way into turn 9. Be careful through here, lads. 2 into 1 does not go. There's a bit of latency that might be dangerous. Benny backs off. Lets the
things
Hooncorp
bear
driver
on,
have
good
the
call.
position.
And what it's done now, Debrev, and we got Spinner in behind. Womble's gone.
Oh,
Womble has found the
Womble's
wall.
lost it.
And he's about to go into the middle of the track. No, good doc. Doesn't get hit, thankfully. That was
Have a look on
very
board on
close
the replay
indeed.
with Womble here as he comes through turn 9. Does he clip the grass on the inside? No. He clips it on the outside and just gets sideways. The back end just kicks out uncontrollably. Nothing that could be done. And into the fence he goes. Disastrous moment for the Red Mist team leader.
Yeah. What all this action has done now is created Malevolent 1. He's in front now, nearly 2.5 seconds to the cars behind. But second, third, fourth, Dazza, Laminate, and V, and got no skills, sorry, missed him. Currently fighting for the best of the rest positions. I saw in the background there, Debrev making the move on Petey Pops. I managed to catch that somewhat. Done it just on the entrance to Munro's Hill, I believe it was.
Alright, let's get a replay up of that move. Here we go. And he found himself on the outside, but he squeezed through on Petey Pops and with a bit of aggression found himself up a position. So very good stuff there from Debrev. Not messing around here. He's looking to make the recovery drive that he knows he's capable of. Petey Pops is off. Petey Pops has found himself off track. The guy with no skills is in again.
Yeah, got no skills doing a 2-stop once again this race.
Kaizo Wookie on the back of him now in the Porsche up to P9. Looking good so far on debut. Not a bad result
Definitely
so
not,
far
great
at
job.
all.
Especially considering that Porsche there Well, it isn't a bad car for some, just the way it's been balanced with the current BOP system. It isn't fantastic in any regard. It's just consistent is the best way to put it. And he's really doing a great job of it, because really a track like this, it hasn't got a lot of power and it hasn't really got like a lot of turn in. But it's managed to do a good job of it and sort of capitalise. There's a yellow flag in front of him. Someone has lost it. Dazza has lost it.
Dazza has found himself off the track. Here we go. Let's have a look at a replay. What happened here? Just got a handful of dirt on the left rear tyre, corrected the wrong way, and off into the undergrowth he goes. Started mowing some lawns. He did get reset. Thankfully ghosted out of the way. So no fault of his own to find himself back on track like that. But that does put him down in P6. Behind Benia. Benia with a great recovery so far. Look at this. P5. Where did VF go?
Great
he's P3. VF is P3.
VF doing a great job currently. Also 1.5 seconds behind Laminator in front. And I think I've been a bit tardy with it, but I think once again we need another tyre and fuel update for this race. Let everyone know what is going on here. So currently leading the race, 11.1, 3.3 seconds ahead of P2. Absolutely just walking away with it. Currently looking about 66% of fuel, 2/3 of the tank. Front left tyre probably got about 15 to 10% left. He's probably due for a pit stop in the next lap. Laminator, pretty much exact same car, same tyre wear, same fuel. Doing a great job there.
Very impressive.
VF.
Supra to be in the same condition as the Subaru.
It's very interesting. If anything, you'd argue that the tyres other than the front left are better on the Subaru, but yeah, the front left tyre, the main one used at this track, better even comparatively speaking to the Subaru and the Supra. Great job there from Laminator. VF there, currently 1 second behind. He's currently, front left tyre is probably the best one out of the top two, but there is not much in it. Definitely, I feel, not enough to make some gains before the pit stop window opens, in my opinion. And fuel-wise, about the same as well. Debrev there in Debrev's in P4 after going down to P10. Okay, cool. Yep, once again, comeback drive. Nice work, Debrev.
Imagine what he could do if he didn't have any close calls like that.
Yeah, it's all about the what ifs here, the shoulda, woulda, couldas, you know. But all you can do is work with what's put in front of you, and right now he is working quite well with it. Currently, fuel-wise, about on par with the cars in front, but tyre life, he has got a bit more in the tank. Not enough to, once again, make like a weird overcut, undercut type strategy. However, if the cars in front start making mistakes on the balding, dying tyres...
We've just seen a moment here from Dazza. And I don't know who that... I think it was Renegade or a guy with no skills. They had a bit of a ding-dong battle down the middle sector. There was a bit of contact on the way through. Let's see if we can have another look at that. These guys are coming in for their pit stops. Here we go. So around the top, and he's side by side now with a guy with no skills. Now through here they go. They try to go too wide, and contact there. The guy with no skills finds himself in the dirt, losing positions. Then he goes through, as does the Hooncorp car of Renegade, who goes onto the dirt as well. A little bit of contact on the way through. Keep that position. I think we might see a bit of, or hear an ominous clicking of a steward's pen.
Yes, thankfully though, as race directors and commentators, as generally not our job, we just get the ability to commentate on it, enjoy it, and not
for those guys.
Yeah. But currently, looking ahead though, P1 and 2 now, Laminator and VF, line astern, they've gone for the overcut here, but their tyres are they're gone. You might as well just run and probably be faster at this point. But Malevolent 1, 5.8 seconds behind. He has done a really good undercut here. I reckon he's going to come out with, I'd argue, a 5-second gap to the two in front once pit stops are done.
Looking good here. Both of these guys coming in now. Let's have a look at Malevolent 1. Already on his way past the pit lane. Looks like they've both got enough fuel so they can just put tyres on and come on out.
Yep, guy on those skills on the two-stop strategy goes in front as well, but he's due for another pit stop.
So Debrev in P5, and he's made a pit stop, hasn't he?
He has. He pitted one lap earlier. His tyres are up to temp. Very much, he is going to be the hunter in this scenario, I feel. I reckon Laminator and VF, they all close up to each other at some point during the stint, and they're going to go 2 by 2 through a few corners trying to decide who deserves to be in front of each other, and Debrev's going to use that to catch up and make a three-way battle.
You talk about him like he's your teammate or something. Oh, right,
Oh.
yes, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies.
So a little bit of CP strategy coming into our chat there. So take notes, rivals. This is what CP does. Okay, cool, very good. And so yeah, Laminator and VF, they're a bit close, but Laminator's got some work to do if he wants to catch him. And I think based on what we've seen from Debrev so far, we're probably going to see him be at his strongest towards the end of his stint. Is that what we expect to see?
That is what I expect to see currently, just pending on whether or not he keeps on the black stuff. That is the big elephant in the room. You can drive well up this track if you keep
it on the drive, keep it on the track, keep it on the black stuff, and we'll see what he can do as this race goes on, as we see a little bit of latency there from Laminator getting moving all over the track. Drop down to P14.
Looking at the back here. Look at the back here though, we've got a 2 by 2 or 2 wide battle I should say. Good Doc and Revslaw fighting for P8. Revslaw goes around the outside, I believe it was, of Good Doc to get the position there. Great drop there, making a recovery drive after his unfortunate spin in the first stint of the race. Now right behind our championship leader for Division 4, Benia. And I think Revslaw at this point, he's going to be seeing the red mist, no pun intended, and just going to be driving the absolute wheels off that car. As Benya finds the sand, goes very slow. Rev spins again. Revs is gone.
Oh no! Oh, look at that.
What
We've
a
just seen Dazza go for a massive jump as well. The yellow flags are out. You guys might have witnessed that one. Look at that. He's rally crossing in a Supra. Look at that. It looks amazing. And they both rejoin together. Revs goes through into P8. P9. We're having a bit of trouble with the timing tower at the moment. I think the latency is causing a bit of a problem. But Revslaw off the track once again. Let's have a look at that on replay. Here we go. Up over the top to the inside, and Benia goes wide, and gets a little bit trigger happy. Little bit trigger happy from Revs. An error when following another driver, went for the pass and applied a little bit too much steering lock, and unfortunately sent himself off the track.
Very unfortunate there. It's easy thing to do here at this track. But that's racing, unfortunately. All you can do is keep powering on and try not to make the same mistake again.
Well, let's jump on board here with Dazza Sterling and check out this monumental accident that he's had on the way down this exit area here. He's seen car go off in front, and here we go over a massive jump there, straight into that raised bollard. A disaster from Dazza Sterling. There's another yellow flag. It looks like Revs is off again. Revs is off again into the dirt. He drops down to P14. It's been a disastrous race so far for Revs. Let's have a look what happened here. Haven't quite seen it. Caught him a little bit too late, and he just drove off the track to get out of the way of the cars coming through. So good sportsmanship by our race 1 winner. But he will not be happy with the result here after such a dominating first race. Malevolent one. 4.6 seconds to the good VF in second. Look how the standings have been turned on their head here. This is
and currently,
crazy.
Yeah. Looking at it as well, VF, like he's in second in that Mercedes, and he's pulling away from the Laminator. Whoever said the Supra was OP, you might be getting proven wrong here. The Merc is holding its own.
The Merc is holding its own. VF is showing that in the right hands, that car can be driven very, very quickly. And here he is, P2 in Division 4. 1.6 clear of Laminator.
Currently as well, looking at the times as well, VF and Laminator for that matter are currently catching up to Malevolent One and P1. They are putting in some great times.
Can VF chase down the leader and take a unexpected win in an unexpected car here at Willow Springs in the second of the sprint races after such a disastrous qualifying and come back in race 1 and then a fantastic drive so far in race 2. Lap 14 now, not far to go, but he's 2.8 now behind Malevolent One. So he's doing a fantastic job, and he's on a personal best lap as well, so he's only getting faster here. How are his tyres compared to the drivers either side of him?
Currently, VF right now, Laminator has got the best tyres, but right now they're all pretty well aligned astern. There's not much in between them, as VF does find a bit of sand on the exit of T9 there, but keeps it going. But on that lap there, for instance, they gained about, would be nearly half a second approximately on Malevolent One in front.
They did,
VF
only
and
to lose it
Laminator.
all at the exit of the last corner for VF, but we'll see if he can continue the good momentum. Catch him
I
up.
don't want to jinx it, and I don't think there'll be an issue, but the Deeds car has got less fuel than the two cars behind him. He should have enough to get home.
Oh no, you've said it now. You've said it now, and I think it was last week the good doc said the Deeds jokes write themselves, but the history of Deeds and fuel management is not a good one, and here we are with another Deeds car low on fuel, and perhaps that's why he's being caught by VF so quickly. Perhaps Malevolent One is attempting to save fuel because his fuel man, once again, got his numbers wrong and short-fueled the Deeds Subi.
But however, if it does give any consolation, currently Laminator is in a similar full fuel situation. So Malevolent One's running out, so is Laminator.
Alright, VF is the guy with fuel. Can the miracle happen?
And
The Mercedes
while he
wins.
is, yeah, and while it's still a fair gap away, if I'm not saying they will, but if Malevolent One and Laminator do run out of fuel, the Brev is only 7 seconds behind P3 and 10 seconds behind P1. If fuel runs out soon enough, if it were to hypothetically run out, he could catch up as well and snag a free podium here.
Looking good, Debrev, and we're coming into that strong stage for the McLaren where the late part of the stint, pace comes on. Fourth here, Debrev leading Renegade, who's also had a good race. Pretty quiet, but, well, actually, I say that. 2 moves round the outside from this guy. Let's see if he can do it again. And Debrev might be his next target. How do you feel about that, Muffin?
Well, it does scare me a bit. However, if he can do a move cleanly, I say it's fair game.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, but if I were you, I'd be Debrev to keep that gap as large as possible for as long as possible. He's got just over a lap to go, I think. The time is ticking right down. These guys are coming across the line for the last time now. Malevolent One will get another lap. VF will get another lap. Laminator will get another lap. Debrev, will he cross the line here and finish? No, he goes for one more. Renegade will go around again.
I think Governor Skills in P6 will be our first finisher, I believe.
The checkered
He
flag
will
is
be.
out. A guy with no skills finishes P6. Benia in P7, a great result after the disastrous first race. Keza P8, Good Doc in P9, another good result and recovery drive. Shizo Wookie on debut takes P10, a top 10 finish. His first time out here in Sector 1, a great job there from the debutant. Womble RMR will lead Dazza Sturley over the line. It looks like he's going to hold on to it here for P11. Dazza in P12, PD Pops in P13. Disappointing result for him in Revslaw, P14 after all that. What a disaster.
He has successfully done the first to last challenge. It's not something you see very often here, but well done to him.
Disastrous result. Here comes Malevolent One across the line to take the checkered flag. VF in P2 will hold off the Supra of Laminator for the second spot on the podium. Laminator P3, Debrev will come across the line for P4. Renegade could not answer to his pace. And Renegade P5 there for Hooncorp Esports. What a race that was. What do you have to say about that, Muffin?
All I can say is, I'm not sure what happened to that car between races, but it just... whatever the mechanics did, whatever, if they just deflate his tyres, not that you really can, but so they've done something to that car and it's just turned to absolute dog's breakfast. It's just couldn't keep on the track to save his life.
Well, there's a saying that goes around sometimes: a good tradesman never blames his tools. So it's on Revs to own up to his mistakes if he did make them, if he does believe he made them, but I'm sure he'll come back stronger for the next race, next round, the Enduro in the Group 4s at Interlagos. But the results of tonight are as they stand now. Malevolent One takes victory for Deeds Racing. 2 wins in 2 weeks for Deeds Racing after a disastrous start to the season. A great result here at Willow Springs so far, and still a driver left to race for them in Division 2 as well. VF with an emphatic P2 in the Mercedes AMG GT3, something that no one could have predicted. He's been driving fantastically here in Division 4 so far this season, and what a result that is to be P2 ahead of Laminator in the Supra, Debrev in the 650S with a great pair of races tonight. Renegade in P5, overtake of the night for sure so far from that driver. A guy with no skills in P6, hovering around that P5, P6 range once again, holding on to his title there. Benny X in P7, a recovery drive, and a race 1 to forget. Keza Johnson in P8, the Good Doc in P9 with a recovery drive there as well. Well done to him. Chizo Wookie on debut makes the top 10 in the final race of the evening, so a great result there for the ISA debutant. Womble in P11. Good result for him, improving on his starting position. Dazza Sturley in P12, a race to forget most certainly, and Petey Pops a struggle as well. A couple of off tracks there. Dazza as well with a rallycross-esque jump off the track when he did crash at that one point, and Revs Law with a disastrous second race. Does manage to take the fastest lap, of course, but a race to forget for Revs Law after such a great win in race 1. What do we think of that?
All I can say is Willow Springs delivers once again. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, so I do apologise, but really, that was just fantastic racing to watch. This track always puts up good racing. Like, I'd compare it to watching a race at Mount Panorama in the way it provides entertainment.
And it was entertainment, wasn't it? From start to finish, up and down, all the way through. These guys were fantastic. They put on a fantastic show for us tonight, but the action does not end there. We have more racing coming your way very shortly from Division 2 here at Sector 1 Sim Racing. But for now, we will go to a break and come back to you fresh for more Willow Springs action. So we will see you soon. Welcome back, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. We are back after a brief intermission and ready to get into the Division 2 action for the evening. I am once again joined in the box by Captain Muffin. We did have a plan to have our usual man in tonight in the form of Graham, or Gur, as many of you may know him, but he has fallen ill, so our best wishes to him for a speedy recovery and hope to have him back in the box very, very soon. He's always great on the mic, and we'll hopefully have his succulent tones back very, very soon. But we do have Muffin once again for Division 2 with us this evening. Say hello, Muffin.
Hello there, everyone. It's a bit of deja vu here now. I'm introducing myself once again. Hope you all still doing well. I just couldn't get enough of this track, and I secretly poisoned Gur so I could do double duties on the commentary and get more on-track action here at Willow Springs.
So, Muffin, a big fan clearly of dirt runoffs here around Willow Springs. But yes, Division 2, hot action coming at you, and I think this might be, just about as exciting, if not more so, than what we've just seen from the Division 4 guys. We know that the Division 2 guys pull no punches, and it's a very exciting time. And of course, as we've seen so far this season, a big flip in the standings, and a lot of different cars up the top end, the pointy end, and performing well. So hoping to see some changes tonight to who's at the front end. But we'll look once again at the standings for Division 2. Here we are up on the screen in front of you. So to refresh you of who's with us for Division 2, here we have it. Stickers leads the way for Lightning Motorsport, the team owner, with 86 points, well clear of Lunacy in P2 for Blacklight, Old Wakey in P3, DP Mario in P4, Evil Evo 9 for Doghouse in P5, Racefan in P6, Maverick in P7, or I believe that is now Cruisin, P7, and Patstar, debutant this season in P8. Dadson, your season 6 Division 3 champion in P9 in the Merc. We just saw VF have a fantastic drive in the Merc, so the standards are high for the Dadson team owner here in qualifying for the sprint round here, round 4. Lenocis in P10, Crazy Good Kung Fu in P11, Karen Unleashed in P12, Salazar Black and Smidmate, who will not be with us tonight and have been replaced, but we'll get into that shortly. Muffin, are we ready to rock for qualifying here?
I think we are. Got 12 drivers here, red hot, ready to go. I think that's all have joined us tonight. We are missing a couple, Cruising, I think, being one of them, and the other one, off the top of my head, I could not tell you. But nonetheless, these boys here probably run a bit behind schedule what we normally do. But I say, let's just get stuck into it.
All right, and off we go for qualifying here at Big Willow for Division 2. Exciting. Let us know who you think is going to be pole position. We've seen some great performances from Lenocis so far this season, so definitely one to watch out for. So have to keep an eye on him through the qualifying session tonight. The timer has begun, so let's get ourselves over there.
Yep, pit lane has got the green light limited now. Cars are allowed on track as they come rolling out. And once pit lane limiter gets turned off, the cars come to life. Engines start roaring. We haven't really talked about as well with these different cars in the field. We've got a lot of different engine configurations ranging from turbocharged inline 6s to red hot V8s. As we've got one car in the stand already, I believe that is Karen Unleash in the Subaru.
Oh no.
He's already... He's getting these sand excursions out of the way early.
Doing his best Indiana Jones impression, searching for artifacts in the dirt out in the Willow Springs nature area. Don't know where I was going with that sentence, but we'll finish there anyway. Lunacy, here we go. Having a run through the grid here for you this evening. Lunacy in the Ferrari for Blacklight Motorsport, another of the retro liveries on his car. PLE Black Friday, a debutant tonight, and replacing Smitty at Red Mist Racing, who will forever go down in history as Skidmate for his antics in round 1 at Nürburgring GP, and will be sorely missed here at Sector 1, who's had to let it go for health reasons and step away from sim racing. But Black Friday will look to fill those shoes, and let's see if he can be as flamboyant and quick as Smidmate was. Lenocis in P3, very close to Black Friday for his flying lap. That might hinder him later on, let's see. He's driving for Obsession Motorsport. Evil09, the first of the Alphas for Doghouse Motorsport here in P4. Stickers, the current point leader in the Lightning Motorsport car. Team owner, of course. Old Wakey in P6, currently P3 in the driver's standings. He'll be looking to get himself a good haul of points and potentially get that leap up to P2. Beaver, another debutant, and filling in at AEDST, replacing one of their drivers here, currently sitting P7. Karen Unleashed in P8, who did take to the dirt early on, as Muffin was pointing out before. He's driving the Subi here and will be hopefully looking to pick up a third win for Deeds here at Big Willow. Crazy Good Kung Fu, the second of the AEDST cars in P9. So it was Salazar Black that was replaced by Team. But our first times coming in as the drivers come across the line. DP Mario in a fantastic looking Mustang livery for Black Rose. Datsun in the Mercedes, and Race Fan rounds out the grid of 12 this evening with the McLaren. So another of your teammates, Muffin.
Yes, and I love to talk about Race Fan, but right now I also want to talk about the pole time of a 1:10.498. Karen, what on earth have you been drinking, sir? I think you have had too much Red Bull. A 1:10.498 first flyer. That is rapid.
Again. Karen Unleashed has been sipping the deeds on the way into this round this evening, and he's absolutely flying here around a track that probably not his favourite so much, but I think he's going to enjoy it a lot now after seeing the results that his teammates are having and the performance that he's putting in right now. A fantastic opening lap for the Deeds team owner.
I'm not sure what is up with that car and what he's done to it, but that car is rapid. Like you said, Deeds could definitely go for 3 race wins here in one round. That is phenomenal driving considering where the cars have been for rounds gone by. To come out swinging just out of the blue like this, it's great to see.
We're going to have to get scrutineering engineers onto the Deeds car here. He's definitely looking extremely fast around Willow Springs here as he goes into the .3s there. 0.399 to be accurate. What a fantastic lap from Karen there, and he's got so much more time to set another. I think this result is almost written in stone already.
I personally, if I was Karen at this point, I'll just park in the pits. That's enough. Yeah, done, mate. Yep, 1:10.3. That will put you on pole in Division 1, which is already a stacked full lobby. He will qualify his teammate Morgan Davey, who is a stalwart here at Sector 1 and someone who's regarded to be a very consistent driver, especially on tracks that demand high tyre wear and high tyre usage. He is known for his, car control when driving on rims.
And race winner last week as well. Big fan of Willow Springs is Morgan Davey, and to see Karen outperforming him here is absolutely crazy to see. So the team owner laying it down and saying, yep, I am still the example, guys. Don't get it twisted. But no pit stop for him. He goes around again. Lenocis into the pits. Old Wakey, third in the driver's standings at the moment in the Supra. So again, not the strongest car around here, but right up there at the top. Crazy Good Kung Fu currently P4 with his highest qualifying position so far in the Porsche.
Definitely. Great drive there from CGK. That Porsche, car that hasn't really been shining so much this round here at Willow Springs, but he is really driving it quite well here. P4 just off the podium positions, just finishing out lap there on fresh tyres, ready to go again as Race Fan comes out of the pits there. He's in for a good round, I reckon, CGK.
Well, I think CGK heard what you said in the last race about how average the Porsche is in every way, and he's here to tell you, actually, it's quite competitive. So there you have it. P4 at the moment.
I'm happy to be proven wrong. That sounds very delightful to see multiple cars, I should say, competing here. As there's a car off track there, purely Black Friday, causing a bit of chaos there at Budweiser's balcony, I believe it's called. Thankfully though, doesn't ruin CGK's lap, and Race Fan was on an out lap, so no lap to be ruined there. We all
Good
carry on.
sportsmanship from Black Friday to start him off. Good to see him fitting right in here at Sector 1. Lovely to see.
As Lunacy jumps into P4 now on the Ferrari, still 3/4 of a second off Karen in that pole position. If you disregard that pole position though of Karen, the rest of the field going from second through to, I believe it's 6th, that's only about a quarter to maybe 3/10 of a second approximately.
Well, not a lot of spread as they get further down. There's hardly more than a tenth between each driver as you work your way down the grid. But Karen laying it down here in Division 2. You know, I don't know if he came into this race with a whole lot of confidence, but I'm sure that qualifying will have boosted his spirits quite a lot.
I think now Karen, he's gonna have the challenge on his hands now to sell the nerves and not get too excited, not get too confident about that lap time, and just try and push the car and really dominate the field. Just bring the car home. He's going to have to launch off the line compared to the cars around him. All he's got to do is just control the car, not overdrive it, just bring it home in P1. That's all you got to do. The gap to P2 does not matter.
No, and speaking of gaps to P2, he's currently got plenty of a buffer for Lenocis behind. Let's have a look now on board with CGK as they come around the final corner, turn 9. As it is aptly named, and he's behind the team owner for Dadson Racing, which is Dadson, of course, who will peel into the pits and not offer CGK a toe to the line. But here we go. Will it be an improvement? No, he's 8/10 down, so not the best lap for CGK. He'll be going around and trying to improve this time. Black Friday goes to P8 with an 11.7.
Yeah, and just want to say as well, championship leader Stickers McQueen, currently P9 at the moment with a 1:12.0. He is nearly 2 seconds off pole position currently, the championship leader. What a change of scenery this is compared to rounds gone by.
Yep, and we love to see a mix-up like this, and Stickers in what is starting to be... It's starting to become clear that the Supra is not the best car around this track, and it's showing here in Division 2, but let's see what he can do. I'm sure there's improvements to be had because he's a resourceful guy, and I think he can definitely make something happen here. So let's jump on board for his final corner here as we go through the final corner, turn 9, as it is so aptly named, as I've mentioned many times. Didn't sound like the gear selection was correct there on the way through, and there we go. So it's not a great time this time around, but he's on a flyer now. Check back in on that later.
I was watching Stickers as well, and just looking at that last corner, he got a bit of a twitch on the entrance, which sort of took him narrow into the corner, and then he took the inside curb too much, and when you get too close to the inside there, the car, or the track I should say, turns in a bit of a ramp, and it sort of flings it back to the outside. It's a very challenging corner, that turn 9. You sort of want to get close to the inside, but you don't want to get too close to the point where you go into that little divot that sends you up in the air, and you just start going straight into the sand.
Every corner here. Black Friday's really getting his act together now as they come to the business end of qualifying. Looks like this will be Manny's final lap, as we've got a driver off there on exit.
Race fan, I was watching it.
Whoa.
Yeah, unfortunately, just got a bit too confident heading down to Monroe's Hill, I believe it's called. And just found the sand, and cars are coming by. He wasn't going to make it around for another lap. He just waved for the other cars to go, not trying to impede them. Yeah, unfortunately not a great qualifying from Race Fan there, but we all know that the McLaren is known for its race pace, not for its qualifying pace.
No improvement from Black Friday. It looks like almost everyone has completed their final laps. Dadson improves and goes to P9, right where he is on the championship standings, I think. So, looking good.
Yep. Gotta love consistency.
That might be qualifying all run and done. Have a look back
That
at our
might be
order
as well.
very shortly. An interesting one. Again, a very early set time finds its way to the top of the standings and stays there for the remainder of the session. So Karen will take the position. Here are your results from qualifying. BRZ comes out on top with a 10.399, with only one other car jumping into the into the 10s, with Lenocis on the front row as well, with the Supra getting a 110.927. Old Wakey, the first of the 11s, in P3, right where he is on the championship standings. Lunacy in the 458 is P4, so he'll be happy with that starting position, looking to get on the podium as the race goes on. Crazy Good Kung Fu with his highest qualifying position of the season so far, P5 in the 911 for ISA Esports. Black Friday, the debutant, GR Supra for Red Mist in P6. Beaver in the 911, the other of the ISA Esports cars on debut, finds himself in P7 as well, ahead of Racefan, who is becoming a bit of a seasoned veteran here at Sector 1 Sim Racing. He's been around for a while, so he knows the ins and outs, and he's down in P8 ahead of Dadson, your Division 3 champion from last season in the Mercedes AMG GT3, which we saw such a great result in from VF in the last race. See if Dadson can replicate his teammates' work in the race, in race 1 and race 2 sprint races tonight. DP Mario in the GTR in P10 with a poor qualifying by his standards. He's usually up pointy end. Stickers in P11 in the GR Supra as well. So struggling to get the Supra to work around here at Willow Springs. So not the qualifying we expect to see from Stickers, but there's still 2 races to go. We might see a better result from him come through him. 0.003 later, we've got Evil Evo 9 in the Alpha 4C, the Doghouse Motorsport. So what do you think, Muffin? What are we expecting?
Really, I'm going to make a very bold prediction right now. I'm probably going to jinx this person in saying it, but I reckon Karen's going to go for a Grand Slam here, win both races, lead every lap, and get the fastest lap both times.
Well, last time we saw someone get a Grand Slam, they went on to do the second race and come dead last after several incidents. So hopefully Karen doesn't put it into reverse on the grid this time around, but I think it is time to go for these guys and get this race underway.
Yeah, no point waiting around. I want to see these guys attack each other on track. It's going to be fun, especially Lunacy in the Ferrari in P4, which has really been quite a achiever in my opinion. We haven't really talked much about him once he got that P4. He's going to be a rocket ship off the line. I can see him getting to P2 if he plays his cars right.
Yeah, so he's ahead of... he's just behind the... Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to get to track. Here we go. We've just missed the start, but we're off and running. Old Wakey to the lead. Karen,
I think that might be a glitch there. Oh,
got
there's
a bit of going on. I think
yeah,
we
bit
might
of
need a
tires,
red
mate.
flag for that one.
We'll wait to see when we get to the Sector 1 timing intermission, as Karen now is in P1. That has been fixed. It's all good.
Our timing board had a little bit of a meltdown, but no, we are all good. Karen leads the way.
Yep. With Lunacy in P2, the rocket ship Ferrari off the line, and really, Lunacy at this point has just got to attack as hard as he can, because once Karen gets into a rhythm, he's gone.
Yeah, that BRZ doesn't mess around in that last corner, and this is the part where the Supras are strongest as well. Down this back straight towards turn 9, there's plenty of time to overtake a slower car, and the Ferrari certainly is that. Let's have a look on board with Lenocis. Up the inside of the Ferrari, here we go. Look at that. Down the inside he goes, and nothing that the Ferrari can do in answer. Through goes Lenocis into P2, and Lunacy is onto the dirt as well. He needs to get back on track.
He saved it.
He's kept it together, but he's going to have very dirty tyres going forwards. Better weaving down the straight to clean them up.
And they've got a move here. Evil Evo down the inside of Evil Evo and Racefan racing side by side. Oh, wow. Clean driving, boys. Excellent work. Something I do want to say as well, we didn't get a chance to say that because of all the action happening. Lunacy's little off-track excursion there and coming back on deserves a Ghost certified car control. As Black Friday goes for a dive on Racefan at the back, and we've also got Lunacy's in the garage and sand.
Lunacy's nearly been turned around. He's getting absolutely battered here in the midfield. Oh, wow. I don't know if you can hear that,
Yeah.
but there's an ominous clicking sound in the background. Might be Stewart's pens going off, I think. But we'll leave that to be decided later. The upshot is Lenocis finds himself right at the back with a lot of work to do in 2 races. Although it's certainly possible, as we've seen already. Here's your Division 2 leader on the back of our debutant Black Friday as they come through turn 9. A little bit of a moment in the dirt there for Stickers, but he managed to keep it on track.
Wow. And now in this sort of part of the race where everyone's starting to settle down now, we've got a decent gap between most of the cars here. Currently 1 second separating P1 and 2 and 1 second between P2 and 3. Oh, excuse me.
Guys have settled into a bit of a rhythm now, and that's exactly what you said they couldn't allow Karen to do, isn't it?
100%. I think I'll notice this right now. I'd imagine him in a cockpit there of his, he'd be just playing whatever music he needs to hype himself up and get him to attack every part of the track as best he can. Really for him in that car, if he can get the corners right, the straights will come back to him. Currently the gap is now 9/10 of a second and coming down on the run in turn 9. Really, Karen at this point, he's got the race by the palm of his hand. If he can just nail the corners, that's all he's got to do.
Yeah. Drive fast. That's it. I can just imagine Karen in the cockpit there, playing the soundtrack from Rocky. Can you see that? I can
definitely see that.
All right, I'll stop there before I make all our viewers' ears bleed. But I think they get the idea.
Yep.
That's what Karen's listening to in his cockpit there. So just remember that. If you see the driver's head nodding through the window, that's why. Here he is.
Yep, we also would not like a copyright strike here at Sector 1, so thank you for stopping.
Oh, I don't know if it was that accurate. I don't think that could have possibly happened. But we'll make sure we don't go into a cockpit cam in Karen's car, just in case we pick up too much music there. But anyway, he leads Lenocis by a second. He's holding the gap just about, but Lenocis is piling on the pressure here. And every time they come out onto this back straight, that gap closes right up. A couple of tenths as that Supra chugs along. These guys are going to have to start being careful of fuel very soon. Old Wakey quietly in P3. Again, you know, having a safe race, making all the right decisions and not going too crazy. He's the sort of guy, Old Wakey, that could win a championship without winning a single race over the course of the season. I can see it happen.
I completely agree with that statement, especially considering his championship leading competition Stickers is currently in P8 only at the moment.
But that is an improvement on his starting position down there for Stickers, ahead of a couple of guys, although taking advantage of the misfortune of others, namely to Lenocis, who's currently down in P12, and it looks like there might be an incident there for Race Fan nearly going off the track right out to the dirt there. I saw him for a little while.
Yeah, but keeps it on. We'll carry on. As we look ahead now, look, going back to the front too, the gap is now, it's closed down a bit, 8/10 of a second, come onto the back straight. Lenocis has put together a good lap here. He might not be close enough for a move going into turn 9, however, on the exit, he could be on you if he hooks it up right.
Karen's feeling the pressure here, I think. Look at that. 5/10 it's down to at the moment. Goes back up to 8 as the Subaru flies through the final corner.
Yep.
See what the gap gets pulled out to as the lap goes on.
Just want to say as well, we also got the first stopper in the race, DP Mario, currently with a full red tyre on the front left side on lap 5. That is going to be the least efficient tyre I've ever seen. That is a very quick tyre wear. I can definitely see him doing a 2-stop, and unfortunately, because of that, I reckon he'll end up sort of mid to rear the pack this race, unfortunately.
Well, I would predict that most guys in Division 2 would go for the 1-stop to make sure that they don't compromise themselves, unless they're in a particularly tyre compromised car. I don't know how the Ferrari is. I know it used to be really bad on its rear tyres, but I think it's been improved. But we'll see if these guys can do a 1-stop. Lenocis in particular will bear watching.
Well, I think now
champion from last season.
Now that you're mentioning tyres, I've delayed it by a lap or so this time around, but I feel we should go for a tyre and fuel update, let the viewers know what they're in for before they go for their first pit stops. So, Karen Unleashed in P1 currently got about 10 to 15% left on his front left tyre and about 2/3 of a tank with a 8/10 gap, I should say, to Lenocis in P2. Lenocis, same fuel, but tyre wear is a touch worse across all the tyres. Not enough to make any sort of real difference at this point in time, but definitely Karen has got the upper hand here, as you can see the gap go out to 1.1 seconds in one corner alone. Old Wakey, currently P3, his front left is gone, it's on a rim. It's not even worth driving anymore. As you can see, the two Porsches of ISA, or run by ISA I should say, have caught up completely now. Old Wakey with 2/3 of a tank more or less. CGK.
This is looking great. This is going to be a great little battle. The two teammates right on top of the Kraken Esports car. What can they do?
Yep. As there's been an incident back here, Stickers has backed off completely. He must have made contact with someone. He has gone off. I'm not sure what's happened there, but Stickers is now down to P11.
Man. Bad luck continues for your point leader in Division 4 Championship.
Yep, no, I should go back to what I was talking about. CGK currently in P4 now, right behind Old Wakey with TGB, or TG Beaver I should say, right behind him. Currently got about 10% left on the tyre and about 2/3 of a tank. Beaver, pretty much the exact same car but a bit less fuel, so running very similar strategies there at ISA. Definitely though, better car than Old Wakey in front. He is very vulnerable now, Old Wakey from Kraken Esports.
For a minute as well, see if these guys go for a move on Old Wakey as they come through the middle sector. We are approaching pit stop time. See what the ISA guys do. Do they box opposite or do they box with the Kraken Esports Supra ahead of them? On board with PG Beaver, TGB. Two ISA drivers, CGK and TGB, the acronyms, strong with this team.
They just ride themselves.
Turn 9. Do ride themselves. Around turn 9 we come. Who will blink? Aaron appears to have gone past the pit lane entry. Lenocis will go in, go for an undercut. In goes the Kraken Esports car, and the two ISA cars will go around again. Now that's interesting.
I guess their plan of attack is, plan of attack for the ISA cars, I feel, is to use, while the tyres are worn, they are warm. And warm tyres will generally give you a good bit of grip compared to cold ones, even if they are fresh. Plan of attack is, I guess, to use slipstream and bum draft each other, possibly down the straights here at Willow Springs. Try and get ahead of Old Wakey while his tyres come up to temp. Because once that happens, all they gotta do is hold the corners and just get enough gap onto the straights before the tyres wear, and the ISA cars will just go.
Might be touch and go for these guys on pit exit because they do have to get past them. They don't just have to stay ahead as if they were ahead. This overcut is going to require them to go nearly half a second faster than what Old Wakey can do on new tyres. But let's see what happens here. We have Old Wakey approaching the final sector. Aaron Unleashed also yet to pit, but it looks like he'll come in this time around. There he is, into the pit box. Crazy Good Kung Fu and TG Beaver. Do they come in this time around? Looks like TGK has pulled away from Beaver a little bit. Lenocis goes through. Will he go by Karen? Old Wakey now, down the pit straight. Where are the ISA cars? He's gone straight by them. There they are on exit. They're going to lose out as well to DP Mario, who's done a stop already, but is due to make his second one very shortly. The gap at the front is 7/10. So Karen has managed to hold on, and he's given himself a huge advantage towards the end of this race now, with the better tyres, having boxed a lap later than Lenocis behind him.
I just feel now currently Karen's tyres are going to be pretty cold, and Lenocis' tyres are going to be very much up the temp. As you can see here, 0.3 of a second behind, going down to the back straight here. Karen is vulnerable, and all Lenocis has got to do is get in front and hold position. That's all he's got to do to try and keep Karen at bay.
Might go sweeping around the outside here. The overspeed of the Supra might prove too much. for the BRZ of Karen Unleashed. Down the inside, does he have a look? No. Karen holds him off for now. Great defense from the Deeds driver. Nothing that could be done by the Obsession Motorsport car there. He looked every which way, but Karen was having none of it as they went through that sweeping right-hander. Through turn 1 they go. Karen holding on to it. Old Wakey now, 2 seconds clear of Crazy Good Kung Fu. He's pulled a fair bit of a gap now, but the ISA boys will have better tyres towards the end of the race here.
Yep. DP Mario has just come in for his second pit stop. Is now slotted in P10 behind Lunacy and Evil Evo.
P10 after 2 stops. That's actually not too bad, assuming he can make it to the end from here. But if he's pitting every 5 laps, he has to make it to lap 17. He's got to do 7 laps on these time.
Definitely. However, though, what he has got currently right now is the fresh tyre advantage over the 2 cars in front of him, being Lunacy and Evil Evo. I reckon DP Mario at this point, his best thing he can do is get the tyres up the temp as quick as possible and get past the 2 cars in front until let their tyres wear on their own. He can try and pull a gap or his do the same, and at that point there, just defend for the last few laps of the race.
I think Old Wakey is loving things right now, looking at stickers down in P12. It's really good for his championship here, and currently P2 in the championship was... I think I've forgotten now.
Before you even say anything, we just want to say something we missed. Lenocis has got past Karen for P1.
As indeed.
We'll have to find out how that happened, because currently now Karen is 4 tenths behind Lenocis, going up to Budweiser's balcony, I believe they call it. Ooh, this is going to get spicy towards the end of the race here. How desperate will Karen get? How desperate will Lenocis get?
What's interesting now is that the dynamic has completely shifted, because the Supra obviously has the overtaking ability with the straight line speed that it possesses, but the BRZ doesn't really have an overtaking ability. It's just got raw pace. So to get past that Supra is going to take a lot of work from the Deeds car. So let's see what he can do. He will have the tyre advantage at the end, but he's going to have to make those tyres last a little bit. And Lenocis is putting on the heat, man. Look at this. He's 8 tenths clear. He was a second clear for a moment there. Karen's going to have to work hard for this one.
The prediction for a Grand Slam has now gone out the window. So
yep.
I'm very much talking out of my bum here, guys. Do not listen to anything I say.
Maybe he can do it for race 2 if he gets the win for this one.
We will see. We will see.
Do you think Lenocis and Karen are probably in each other's ear at the moment?
Oh, Lenocis in the sand. Lenocis has found the sand but holds it. I reckon these two will be talking to each other as the race goes on, trying to psych each other out, both on the track and in their minds. Very much a
playing the
mental warfare.
Oh, it's such a shame we missed that move. It would have been really interesting to see how it was done. It was probably on the way into turn 9, I would suspect.
I'd argue that is right there, mate. Currently, though, I just want to say, no man's land currently for Old Wakey and P3. 5 seconds to the lead battle, 2 seconds, or 2.2 I should say, to CGK behind him. And looking at lap times though, CGK is catching up. It's at this rate, it's going to be touch and go whether he can do it at the end of the race. However, CGK could snag a podium here if Old Wakey does make a mistake at some point during the last 4 laps of this race.
I think it's looking odds on for CGK. He's looking very quick and consistent around here. And that Porsche will come back to him. As we know, he pitted later than Old Wakey ahead of him. So that last lap should be very much in favour of the Porsche driver around here. And I think that Porsche would generally be better on its tyres than Supra anyway. So we could be looking at a grandstand finish for these guys. Look at this.
Yep.
For the lead. Karen is all over the back of Lenocis as they come through the middle sector. He's right on his rear bumper, but can do almost nothing to pass the Supra. Look at this. The gap starts opening up. You look at the numbers in the top left corner of the screen. That number increasing shows that the Supra is pulling away from the Subaru with the Subaru in the slipstream. How crazy is that? How fast must this car be be able to pull away with the other car in the slipstream. Here we go, though. Karen looks to the outside. Can he go around the outside of Lenocis at turn 1? We saw it in race 1. Will we see it in race 2? No. Karen can't quite do it.
Karen there also looked for a switchback, but Lenocis has been the smarter racer. He has parked on the apex to make sure there was no return move there available for Karen. However, though, compromised his line going into turn 2, and now Lenocis has got to defend some more. Lenocis gets to sand a little bit, but holds on to position.
Really running that car all the way to the dirt out there. These guys, at the start of the season, were in the conversation amongst admin to be promoted to Division 1, and now they're showing us, you know, exactly why they were in that conversation. They are miles clear of the rest of their division. Speaking of the rest of their division, there might have been an incident for Old Wakey at some point, because Crazy Good Kung Fu has found his 2 seconds that he needed to catch the old timer.
I don't believe that was an incident of sorts, unless there might have been something, but currently looking at the 2 cars, Old Wakey, his tyres have gone. They've packed it in, they've gone home. He is driving on thin air at this point. CGK looking for a move at the inside turn 9. Can he do it?
Look at that. Nothing that the Supra could do about it. Through goes the Porsche. There might be an answer here from Old Wakey, but it might be damage limitation at this point for the Supra driver with tyres as bad as they are. CGK into the podium positions for the first time this season in his Sector 1 career. On the podium. Can he finish it?
We've also got another battle starting to form here as well. Black Friday and Race Fan for P6 and P7 respectively. Currently 7/10 per second gap. Looking at the tyres of these two, Race Fan has got the worst tyre currently. But right now, it appears that he's making some good gains on Black Friday in front.
And Karen is absolutely throwing the kitchen sink at his rival Lenocis here. He's been looking every which way. He went for a massive dive on the way into the Budweiser section that we were talking about before. And I think it might be a matter of when and not if the Deeds car can get by the Obsession Motorsport car. Come through turn 9. See if Karen can get a nice run on the Supra. Lenocis parks it on the apex and leaves Karen absolutely no space. Right on the back is the Subaru BRZ of Deeds Racing. Obsession Motorsport, their car will pull to the inside and go defensive. Karen looks for a switchback once again. Nothing doing. Bit of contact on the way through. Karen looking for every opportunity he can get this win back. But Lenocis looks like he might hold on at this point. Through Rabbit's ear. There we go. Karen to the inside. He goes through. It looks like Lenocis tyres might have finally fallen off, and the lead has changed. Through the long sweeping right-hander of Rabbit's ear, the BRZ found the grip, found the place, and here we have Karen Unleashed leading the way here on the final lap of the sprint race, race 1 for Division 2. And now looking very comfortable, pulling away from Lenocis here.
It was bound to happen eventually, unfortunately. Lenocis, that tyre of his just going for the undercut strap versus the overcut, just could not stay alive as long as Karen's. And Karen here, all he's got to do is make it through the last corner cleanly, and he's made it. There is nothing stopping him.
There we have it. The Deeds team picks up another victory this weekend. Karen Unleashed will come across the line in the first sprint race to take the checkered flag in P1. Crazy Good Kung Fu with his first podium in his Sector 1 career. Old Wakey in P4 with another solid result. And Beaver on debut in P5 for ISA Esports in the Porsche, the car you were talking about being so average in race 1 in Division 4, Muffin. But the Porsche proving to be a competitive car here at Willow Springs. Look at this DP Mario, Danson and Lunacy fighting it out for the final spots in the top 10. It was so close to the line, we missed the entire battle. Oh, wow. Not much we could say about that down the bottom end, because there was so much action at the front that we missed most of it. But clearly there would have been something to look at up and down the field if we'd been looking.
That end of the race, I just want to say as well, both Black Friday and Race Fan had run out of fuel, but thankfully had enough gap between from the cars behind to not lose any positions from it.
A great drive from many of our boys tonight, and more entertaining stuff from Division 2. They never cease to amaze us with their competitive driving up and down. Karen Unleashed in the BRZ takes the win in race 1 with the fastest lap. Not quite a grand slam because he didn't lead every race, of course, with Lenocis taking over the lead for the better part of the second stint. Crazy Good Kung Fu makes his way onto the podium for the first time in his Sector 1 career. A fantastic result from the ISA Esports driver, and he'll be looking to replicate that in race 2. And with the Porsche's standing start, might even be able to leapfrog Lenocis into P2 off the grid. And that will bear watching, I think. Old Wakey in P4. Solid result once again. As we said, sort of guy that could win a championship without winning a single race. Here finishes in P4. Such a consistent race result getter. PG Beaver on debut. A fantastic result for him as well in the 911 RSR for ISA Esports. So the two ISA Esports cars both within the top 5. A great result for them so far. And I'll be hoping to replicate that in the final race tonight. Black Friday on debut in P6 as well for Red Mist Racing. A great result for him so far. And starting P6 for the final race of the evening. Race Fan, DP Motorsport 650S in P7 and DP Mario in the GTR Nismo GT3. P8. Dadson in P9. Ahead of Lunacy, who rounds out the top 10. Evil Evo 9, 4C is P11, and Stickers and P12 finishes 30 seconds behind the lead, which in the grand scheme of things isn't really that much, considering in Division 4 we saw guys finishing a lap down. But Stickers, the point leader for the championship, needs a better result in the grand final of tonight's racing to keep himself in contention.
Pretty much so. I think the second race, you know, the sun has started to set a little bit, so tyre wear for these guys shouldn't be as much of an issue. But without a doubt, they're going to suffer, but they shouldn't suffer as quickly, which should really help all these guys, I feel, especially all the guys in Supers. These tyres were just falling off a cliff way sooner, and guys like DP Mario, who did a 2-stop there. Hopefully these cooler conditions should give him the ability to possibly do a 1-stop and keep himself in contention with the cars in front.
All right, well, I think we are ready to rock and roll for the final race of the evening. Who in chat wants to see some Div 2 action once more? I think it's time to kick her in the guts.
I think it's very much that time. That big red button for the last time here this round at Willow Springs. The red, white and blue stripes. The revolver sitting next to it because the Americans and their guns is it's very loose here, but that's okay. No one has offered me a Bud Light yet, so that's good. All right, let's get this race going.
Off we go. Regardless of what happens, it's been a fantastic night of racing so far for Sector 1 Round 4 Group B. I hope you've all enjoyed. If you have, make sure you leave a like on the video. It certainly helps us get higher in the algorithm so more people can discover our amazing content and join our community, get more guys in the races with us. We'll jump to our race now. Here we go. Final race of the evening. Division 2, the final sprint. Karen will be on pole position. Let's see what Crazy Good Kung Fu can do off the start. It's a great start for the Supras, in fact, who get away really well. Lenocis looks like he's going to keep P2 here, and Stickers off the back is way down with a terrible start.
Beaver's gone. Beaver's off the track.
Start. And that's Beaver, our debutant, who's lost a bucket load of positions off the first corner. He gets himself back on track. A good recovery there. But looks like there'll be some investigation into that one, I think, as the
Definitely.
investigations begin next week. Flip
Yep,
go to the steward's pens, but we continue on.
Yep, currently big movers, I want to say. DP Mario and Race Fan now sitting 5th and 6th. Lunacy up to 7th after being towards the back of the pack. Stickers unfortunately not able to make a good start there. Currently P11. The only reason why he's up position is because of Beaver's unfortunate off-track excursions. Very much so. Line of stern at the front. Old Wakey getting a launch on CGK in the Porsche. You wouldn't see that every day. The Supra, renowned for its mediocre launches off the line. However, Old Wakey has done right this time.
Yeah, it was a good launch from both of those Supras on the front two rows. So, unfortunately, for the other drivers, not able to take advantage of that weakness in the Supras game. But the upshot is we see 2 Supras in the podium position. CGK's got a fight on his hands if he wants that bronze medal or better this round for the final race. And Racefan and DP Mario, I think, are probably going to try have something to say about it as well.
Definitely, and Lunacy as well. Don't count him out yet. Although his tyres do suffer towards the end of the stint, if he can get himself in a given enough spot at the start of it, he can try and mitigate the damage and the time lost towards the end to make something happen. As Racefan goes very wide at the exit there of Budweiser's balcony, gets a very mediocre run down to Monroe's Hill and is now under threat from DP Mario and Lunacy behind him. I very much feel there could be a move coming on here on the T9 or T1 from either of these 3 cars.
As we see them come through to turn 9, as we just saw the replay of the start there on board with a couple of drivers around Beaver, seeing our debutant. Bit of contact at the apex of the first corner, hard to tell who was at fault, and there was definitely latency involved, but we'll leave that decision up to the stewards. The upshot is we see him down in P12, looking to make a recovery drive. He's not too far off the back of the entire grid, but the real action right now is right behind Racefan. There's 5 cars bumper to bumper, which is tailed out by Dadson. Mario, Lunacy, Black Friday, our debutant, looking to make an impact here in the second of the sprint races for Div 2.
Yep. Everyone aboard the CP train, choo-choo.
Is being led by the CP McLaren.
Yep.
Looks like a bit of contact there with the GTR of DP Mario. That might have been a redress there from Lunacy as well on the way back through. Hard to tell, but we'll have to let the stewards decide that one. Perhaps that incident will get noted. We don't know. Depends how much of the stream the stewards are watching. But as it stands, Black Friday leads this pack. Racefan has been allowed to get away, and DP Mario is behind the Red Mist debutant.
Currently, I also want to say as well, the top 4, even top 5 now, they've just spread themselves out nice and easy. Karen got a 1.6 second gap over Lenocis. He's realised the mistakes from the last race. He can't let Lenocis be in that undercut territory. He has to pull away now to try and save any sort of stress in the later part of the race, because we now know Lenocis, if he has to do the undercut to get near Karen and get in front of him at some point, he will do it. Karen has to now try and plan against that and make sure Lenocis can try it, but just try and make him not succeed. Succeed is what I'm getting at.
Defend the undercut. That will be all that Karen is thinking right now. So used to Morgan being the winner for Deeds after last week. But yeah, he needs to pull out nearly 2 seconds, I think, to defend from that undercut. And then I think he should be home and dry. But as we saw last race, Lenocis didn't come out ahead of him after the pit stops, but he did get the pass done on, I think, Karen's outlap or slightly later.
Definitely did. Yeah, I think it was, must have been the lap or 2 after Karen G's pit stop. Lenocis made his move, and of course we didn't see it on stream here because that'd be too good of us to give you guys a pass to the lead on the stream. No, we couldn't do that.
No. We refuse to catch the action on the broadcast. We just like to watch cars drive in circles without overtaking them.
Yes, no, we are simply studying for our next round of racing here at Sector 1. Having you guys watch a stream as well, that's just a bonus for us.
If you are enjoying the action from tonight, do leave a like on the live stream for us, and let's get this stream out to as many people as possible and improve the league as much as we can. And subscribe if you're new. Make sure you don't miss any new videos from Sector 1. We do go live every Sunday at the moment, although we are going on a break after this round before we come back for Interlagos at the endurance round. As we see Lunacy off the track there for a moment, bit of car control to keep it straight. Second time today we've seen him do that.
Definitely. The Ferrari, it's like you said, it's a great car when the tyres are fresh, but when the tyres start to go, the rear end just wants to get more and more unpredictable. As you see there, going to the T9, the rear end just couldn't stay still. As he goes into the pits.
Into the pits into lap 5. He's pulling a DP Mario strat.
maybe Lunacy and DP Mario have swapped cars for the race here. Going to do alternate strats and see which is quicker, depending on the car. Okay. One thing it does though for Lunacy, it gives him clear track. He can just go out and drop qualifying laps. No one's around to disturb him. It does give him that benefit of like less stress, less to worry about. He's got him, the car, the track, while everyone else is going bumper to bumper with each other, trying to keep it clean and not do anything too brash or too harsh, I should say, between other cars in front. As you know, Beaver, after his off-track excursion on lap 1, is now on the back of the train. What a comeback drive from Beaver.
At the back of Stickers, no less, our championship leader after round 3 for points. The Lightning Motorsport team owner, under pressure from the debutant in the ISA Esports car. Great drive so far for TG Beaver. Great pair of drives, race 1 and race 2. To recover from that incident at the start as well. Fantastic stuff. And so resilient as well. It embodies the spirit that we look to have in all of our drivers here at Sector 1. That sort of resilience and determination. Down the inside he goes.
Yep. Looking at the pits now. DP Mario has also gone for his pit stop as well. Once doing the 2-stop once again. He'll have a battle of lunacy now for the best of the 2-stoppers this race, I feel.
He's out behind. Less than a second.
But
he's pitted
if
a
I
bit
may
later,
though,
so he's got a bit of an advantage here, I think.
I currently want to draw your attention now to P3. Old Wakey's tyres, they're gone. It's lap 7, the tyres are gone. There's no point even driving the car. You should pit this lap, but if he does, it's going to hurt him even more into the next stint. So CGK, half a second behind right now. He's in the box seat to snag a podium, I feel.
This is what we've seen in the last race as well. CGK caught right up to him in the late stages of the first stint and then lost it all on the undercut. I wonder if maybe CGK should pit with him this time around and try to stay with him when he comes out. Oh no, Old Wakey goes around again. This could be CGK's chance to get the pass done.
I think very much so. Maybe Old Wakey, it's a risky strat, but hypothetically, he could be trying to sort of back up CGK right now. Let Racefan come and attack CGK so Old Wakey can have less to worry about and try and just focus on his driving rather than defending his heart out from this fresh Porsche, comparatively speaking. The tyres on the two cars here, night and day difference.
I'd like to point out as well, the gap between the top two is down by quite a lot compared to what it was before. Lenocis is caught right up to the back of Karen and is now less than a second behind. And that's really taken away that undercut defence that Karen was working so hard to develop.
I reckon these two cars looking at him, I reckon they'll both pit this lap. There'll be no reason to do an overcut, an overcut. I should say at this point in time, the undercut will serve both cars a lot better right now.
Yep, both of them in. Good prediction, Muffin. Love to see it. Let's see the other two. Crazy Good Kung Fu goes around again.
CGK, I will say though, he can do that. While the rest of the top 5 cars, they're all running off fully dead front left tyre. He's still got tyre left. So really, him doing this right now, he's taking his medicine early. Sure, he might lose a bit of time to Old Wakey while he's on fresh tyres on his outlap, and possibly with CGK having cold tyres on the next lap out. He's going to be good at coming into the race, and Old Wakey won't be able to do a thing about it being on 1 lap older tyres compared to what he was on at the end of the first stint. CGK, he's working a lot smarter here, I feel, doing the overcut.
Yeah, I think he didn't really have much choice in the matter, but he will, like you say, have that big advantage towards the end of the race as it comes down to the last few laps. He's just got to find a way past Old Wakey because it was almost gifted to him in the last race. Yeah. Let's see if he can do it.
That's nice. Also, possibly here could be a little bit of team orders because currently the car in front of Old Wakey is TG Beaver, who has not pitted yet. There's a possibility that Beaver might be giving a bit of dirty out Old Wakey, try and slow him down so his teammate CGK can catch up.
Could be interesting, actually. I imagine Beaver will pit in this lap anyway. Yep, there he goes. There we have it. Old Wakey goes through.
Yep.
Crazy Good Kung Fu is a long way behind. Nearly 3 seconds. That undercut was so
Wow.
powerful. Did CGK have to put some fuel in?
Well, looking at the two cars, CGK may have put a bit of fuel in, I believe. But, because, yeah, considering the line of stern going in, there's no way that old Wakey has pulled out a gap like that without some sort of fuel interference, you could say.
3 seconds there. That's a massive change, so I think you're right. I think you must have put fuel in.
And now, looking at this podium battle and beyond, two stoppers have got mixed in with the one stoppers now. Lenocis sitting P4, due for another pit stop. DP Mario sitting P6, also due. And they've got cars around them. Race fan right behind DP Mario here. Less than 3/10 of a second, I should say. DP Mario, he won't be in this lap, but within the next one or two, I can see him coming back in.
10, 11, 12. There goes Lenocis.
Lenocis in the sand.
He's going to have to force it into the pits. There we go. Manages to go through a bit of damage limitation there.
Wasn't a planned pit stop from the boys at Blacklight Motorsport. However, they're already there with the tyre guns and the tyres ready to go. It does mean that Lenocis will have to do a pretty long stint, comparatively speaking, to what he's done for the last bit here. But all he's got to do, if he can just keep his driving nice and smooth and just bring the car home, he should be alright though to snag possibly a top 10 result.
The big change here is that we can now see the gap between Wakey and Crazy Good Kung Fu. Just shy of 4 seconds between them now, the Porsche. About 3.6, it's hovering around. So not changing and fluctuating too much at this stage, but I think in a few laps time, we're going to see Crazy Good Kung Fu start clawing back the time and pulling in that gap to old Wakey in front. But he's got a lot to make up and not a lot of time to do it. It's going to happen all very quickly, I think. Look at the battle for the lead. Lenocis is right on the back of Karen.
Yep, as Lenocis just the fastest lap of the race, yes.
Karen holds the outside, manages to keep the position, and he'll probably stay there for the rest of the lap now.
Yeah, it's going to take a mistake from Karen for Lenocis to catch back up. As good as that Super is in every other regard, the long sweeping corners, it just can't be a Subaru there. The Subaru being small, nimble, downforce heavy, it just loves those corners, eats them for breakfast.
Now, that rabbit's ear corner is by far the BRZ's strongest corner, and it just absolutely flies through there. 2 or 3 tenths every lap on that Super behind on equal tyres, so you know that Super has to work extra hard just to stay with him.
Currently though, going on to T9, gap is less than half a second. Will Lenocis be close enough to mount a move into T1 here? It won't be close enough at T9, but T1 could be on as Karen goes a bit wide on the entry, but hooks it in for a nice exit and pulls away. Yep, Karen there with a great exit. Lenocis will not be close enough for a move this time around.
Too far back. He needs to absolutely nail turn 9 or get the move done prior, which he wasn't able to do that time. Picking on our boys between Old Wakey and Crazy Good Kung Fu. Crazy Good Kung Fu is on pace now, looking to chase down the old timer, but the gap is extending. It was just over 3.5 before, it's now just over 4 seconds. So Crazy Good Kung Fu needs to get his act together and get his head down, start chasing Old Wakey in front of him, get some time out of him real quick because he's running out of time to do it.
Yeah, currently looking at about 4.5 laps. Yeah, 4.5 laps left, I should say, of this race we are predicting. Really, I think as saw in the first stint, it wasn't until the last 2 to 3 laps of the stint where the gap really started to come down. When the tyres were still in good condition, the Supra in the hands of Old Wakey had no problem maintaining a gap to CGK or pulling away. It's just when those tyres go, especially now that CGK has done an overcut. We'll see around, I reckon around lap 14, possibly 15, that gap will calm down dramatically and will just give us a battle for the last step on the podium.
Speaking of battles for podiums, Lenocis has just potentially thrown away his chance at winning this race. He's gone wide at the exit of turn 9 and put 4 wheels in the dirt and was off track for quite a while and came back on with dirty tyres, which compromised This turn 1, he's now 2 seconds down. That might be race over. 1 and done for Beats driver. 2 wins in one night potentially. 3 wins over 4 divisions from Deeds Racing. Could it happen? I think it might be.
If it does happen, it'll go down as one of the best nights in Deeds racing history. Looking back though, P6, P7, P8, Evil Evo, Beaver and Lunacy, these guys are on hammer and tong for the last spot in the top 6. Beaver and Lunacy have both got better tyres compared to Evil Evo. Lunacy doing a 2-stop definitely would, but they're line of stern and very much, it's good racing back here. There's no other way of putting it. Evil Evo does have a bit of an advantage on the straight.
Beaver might have this because we know where he ended up and where he's come back from. To be up here with these guys, surely he's got to have the pace advantage, but we'll see what happens. He's looking very quick. Lunacy picking up more dirt. Here goes Beaver to the inside of Race Fan. Sorry, Evil Evo. Mixed up my names. The doghouse car holds the outside, can't do anything in response. Goes for a cutback and is successful. And Beaver might lose out to Lunacy here as well. He finds himself on the inside for Rabbits here. There's a little bit of contact, and Lunacy might be off the track there. He manages to recover.
I think Evil Evo at this banned him right now. Looking at the tyre quality of the 3 cars there, Evil Evo is comfortably worse off. And I feel, I hate to say, I think Evil Evo goes off. Evil Evo's found sand.
That might have been Beaver pushing the Alfa Romeo off the track. It was hard to tell. We'll have to let the stewards deal with that one later. We'll have a look at a replay if we get a chance. But Beaver finds himself P6 now, leading Lunacy.
What a drive from Beaver to start the race, P12, off into the sand, off the back of the pack. Now it's in P6, finds a bit of sand though on the run to T9. He's going to have dirty tyres. Lunacy looks for a move, can't make it happen though.
Alright, the battle for P3 is starting to hot up. A second is gone out of the time between them. The gap is now down to 2 seconds, and it looks like Old Wakey might be really struggling for tyre grip now.
I can confirm to you, looking at that tyre, I'm seeing a few sparks coming off it. It's just rim. There is no tyre left.
1.6 the gap. About a lap and a half to go. We're seeing 17 laps for these guys most times. CGK might make it happen.
What a drive this will be. ISA on the podium in their first season of Sector 1 Sim Racing. I'm not sure if they've had any podiums before in the season. There's none that I can recall, but either way, be a great result for the team.
It would be. Crazy good Kung Fu. Can he do it? He's within a second now. Through turn 9, he's got a lap to go. Look at how much the gap closes down. Wakey is going to have no response here.
I think one thing that Wakey's got in hand, he's got straight line speed. Right now, while his cornering ability is going to be very much hindered, as long as he can park on the apex and sort of prevent any moves from CGK, if he can go into the straight with a decent enough run, the car will be able to power away and try and not lose too much time. However though, corners like Rabbits here, you just can't save time there as Old Wakey finds sand.
He's going to look to the outside, no, the inside. There's contact on the way through.
God.
It was a bit of hip and shoulder. It looked like it was a closing gap. The door might have been shut a little bit too late. It was hard to say. But CGK finds himself in P3.
What a drive. Very, hip and shoulder, Rubbins racing type mentality. Old Wakey there flashing the headlights, might not be too happy about it. Well, stewards, the pens are still clicking. We'll let them have a play with it later on after the racing tonight.
It looked like a bit of a late move, but we'll look at our leader now. Karen Unleashed comes across the line to take the win in the sprint race 2 for Division 2. Lenocis will be P2 for Obsession Motorsport. Crazy Good Kung Fu will come across the line to take P3 with an asterisk next to it. In the case of Old Wakey and the move made there.
Race Fan's in the sand, he's spun. Race Fan has spun on the run to the line.
Oh no, Lunacy's got him there as well. Beaver is going to cross the line in P5 just ahead of Lunacy. Black Friday is going to get the run on the CP Motorsports car, and DP Mario almost gets the Red Mist car to the line under a fuel loss. Race Fan P9, Evil Evo 9 in P10, Stickers P11, and Dadson in P12 finishes a lap down.
Unfortunately, that's enough to seeing VF do magnificent things in that Merc in Division 4. Unfortunately, couldn't replicate it in Division 2.
Wow. Well, it's hard to pick out a moment from that race. There was action up and down, as we've come to see from these guys. And right at the death, CGK goes through to P3 with a robust move into the Budweiser section that we will allow the stewards to deal with for us, so that we don't have to get involved in that. But it always looked like he was going to make the move at some point. Karen Unleashed takes the win, and there's no doubt behind that one. It is a deserved victory for the Deeds team owner, and much needed after a very poor start to the season. And very well done to him to take that win. No Grand Slam this time around either. And no fastest lap for race 2, unfortunately. Lenocis took that title from him. But a 4-second win over someone who has been dominating Division 2 all season so far. A great result for Karen Unleashed. Head of Lenocis. Crazy Good Kung Fu takes a provisional P3. Old Wakey in P4 again. Fourth debut takes P5 for ISA Esports. And Lunacy, P6 in the 458 for Blacklight Motorsport. And Black Friday on debut, P7 for Red Mist Racing, a great result for him. DP Mario, P8 in the HKS styled Black Rose Racing vehicle. Race Fan in P9, Evil Evo rounds out the top 10, Stickers in P11, and Dadson in P12. Disappointing result in the end. So let us know your drivers of the day. I think it's pretty hard to pick. What do you think, Muffin, for Division 2?
Well, Division 2, in my opinion, we really I don't think we even talked about Division 4 driver of the day. I feel I think we
No, we
missed
skipped
that
over that one a
completely.
little bit.
So I'll quickly chuck the end so the boys can get a chance there. But driver of that Division 4 for me was VF. I think he drove a great race in that Merc, and I think he's a very deserving driver of the day, in my opinion.
I can't argue with that whatsoever. He was my pick as well.
Yeah, but looking at Division 2, there's a couple of ones there, but for me, personally, I'll give it to Old Wakey. Just once again, that consistent sort of top 5 finishing, good points day in, day out. It doesn't seem like much on paper. When you look over a whole season, it adds up and can usually mean a great finishing result coming into the season.
Well, there's a couple of guys I could give it to in Division 2. Beaver is one of them, with a debut P5. What a result that is. Crazy Good Kung Fu with his maiden podium here in the Sector 1 series on his first season in Sector 1 as well. He'll be absolutely wrapped with that result, even if there is a little asterisk next to it. And like you say, Old Wakey, still a great result for him. You know, he tried to hold on to that podium spot, but nothing that could be done on that tyre at the end of the race. But what a race it was. CGK Driver of the Day, Division 2. We got a couple for CGK. Beaver as well. Karen as well. Of course, a dominant display. Yeah, very well done from Karen. I think he definitely deserves a lot of props for that one. Driver of the Day, Wakey as well there is from Sum and Crazy Good Kung Fu. Yeah, plenty of votes coming in. So we'll tally those up later and make sure we publicise those ones. But yeah, what a race, what a night it's been. The sprint races, they have done so much for us this season, and it's been great to have them. So thank you all so much for watching. Any closing words from you, Muffin?
Really, I think you took all the words right out of my mouth, but really I was going to say, thank you everyone for coming in, looking at the race we have to offer here at Sector 1. We try and put on the best entertainment we can with the tools provided, and it's just, more often than not, we get great racing. And if you're looking to become part of it as well, please jump on the Discord, check it out. Come say good day, how you going? Most of us are pretty alright fellas. There's a couple that are a bit odd, but we won't mention them. You can find out yourself. And feel free, every driver here that you see started off in the community series, which we run every second Thursday for the most part. Might be a little break with the little season break we've got coming up between rounds here. But jump in, give her a run, and hopefully we'll see you on track one day.
Yep, love to hear it. So a couple of things to say before we do go. We are going for a 2-week break now here at Sector 1, the mid-season break, and we will be back for Interlagos Enduro in 2 weeks' time. So put it in your calendars. Enjoy the time off for those drivers who are still with us. And use this time to refresh. Admin will be hard at work trying to get things sorted for the remainder of the season. And hopefully we can finish it all off with a bang. But enjoy the time off. Maybe go spend some time with your families. Sim racing shouldn't always come first, although it is awesome. I would swear, but I don't know if it's after 9 o'clock everywhere in the world. I guess it's not. But awesome is the word I would use. But yes, enjoy the time off. And towards the end of that time off and the end of this month, don't forget there is the Inter-League Championship competition between Sector 1 and 3 other leagues that will be streamed on, I believe, just the Wheel to Wheel channel, but it might also be streamed on the Sector 1 channel. I'm yet to confirm that, or we are yet to confirm that rather. But more information will be posted in the Discord, which you can join through the link in the description. So make sure you grab that before you go tonight. But that is all from us this evening. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, because we really appreciate that, and it would help us to get ourselves pushed up the algorithm a little bit and viewed by a few more people. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Subscribe if you do want to see more of our streams from Sector 1. We're live every week except for the next 2 weeks while we have our mid-season break, and we hope to see you all back for Interlagos in a couple of weeks' time. But for now, we are all done, and we'll see you again. Goodbye.
Oh.